of the main theater. The setup you can also see here with the branding. You can also see which languages will sit where.
At 1 we are going for makeup, and of course at 2 we start the show. So basically the way it's going to work for all of you guys, so we got the French casters here, the English caster will be on the side. As you can see behind you have flags, so it will be Korean casters, Japanese, Italian, German and Russian.
Upstairs, we're gonna later on, we're gonna have the lunch, and upstairs then we're gonna start with the tablet setups for every player.
Different pose. I would like to participate at SWC 2017, 18, and 19. So I can call myself I have some experience, but this pressure and feeling, getting nervous, are never getting used to it. So yeah, super nervous.
Ouais, tu peux couper,
This scenario, one question is, do we need all of them? So it's gonna be either them or us.
When we have a player coming, we are running the color of the player. And when we have a player winning, we are running the color of the player. Otherwise, we are just doing white.
It's the rehearsals, so we've arrived at the venue, Maison de la Mutualité, and then we're having a look, logging into all the iPads. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really nice place.
Un device qui sont rangés par ordre d'acquisition. Et en fait, quand tu fais un match,
Là aujourd'hui c'est la journée des répètes, ça permet aux hôtes, aux casters, aux joueurs de savoir ce qu'il y a à faire. Ouais, super excité mais un peu nerveux et je suis impatient en fait. Et le franc violent, c'est incroyable.
Check this out. Wow. Ok.
Welcome everyone, it's D-Day today, World Finals SWC 2019. We're standing right in front of La Maison de la Mutualité, the venue for the World Finals, and I hope everybody is having a good day today.
Such a long line. Crazy. Doesn't stop anymore.
Summoners, let's play Summoner's War. Yeah, like this. Ready, guys? It's about to start.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's really crazy. All the crowd, the first person was at 7 a.m. here already from the US, and it's really amazing. Can't wait. Petit massage.
Honestly, before each one of these tournaments, I usually feel really nervous, but today I'm just excited and I feel like we're ready. I'm commentating with my boys.
Super excited. I can't wait.
Oh!
Non, c'est bon. C'est bon.
Yeah, that's perfect. You can go.
Faites du bruit pour CHENE! Et Thompson, mesdames et messieurs!
Would not want to be Judas at this moment, and he's
Bomb gets resisted as well. Not to worry though. And there it is, round 3 taken by Thompson.
Oh, des amis, des frères, on peut encore les applaudir. Mesdames et messieurs, incroyable, mesdames et messieurs.
Wow!
What a game here! Boss can't believe it. Diligent can't believe it either. What a game!
Boss taking down his biggest fear in the tournament.
And Boss not hitting the auto button out of respect for his opponent.
Look at him!
He's enjoying this.
That's Boss!
Boss! Prochain match, là, je pense que vous savez très bien qui c'est qu'on va accueillir. Est-ce que vous voulez voir du ROSITH? Oh là là, mesdames et messieurs, quel accueil!
Another additional turn. That's it. Tree had enough. Roslin takes that round.
Mesdames et messieurs,
From that unit, Intars. Bomb sitting on top of Hathor. And last 2-0's Llama.
So the first semi-finals should start right now.
Both players have hit the auto button. They both know
And
it's
there
over.
it is. Thompson takes round.
I'm just thinking what I did wrong.
You did great. I just got lucky that my nephews had max resist. So if that wasn't luck, I'll tell you.
Let's give it up for
Pass to Josephine. Josephine drops to Vanessa. We see the cleanse come out. Another additional turn coming from Fran to get that attack break onto Eleanor. No defense break. And Tars is going to get that additional turn, dropping the Eleanor. And that is going to be it. Less. No way.
Give it like 15 minutes, and you'll be ready to enjoy the rest of the day. I hope. When you just, we both did really well. So it's true. Be proud of it.
Yeah, yes, you should be.
Good job. Awesome. I know how you feel. I felt this. After Thompson, I felt this.
C'est la grande finale!
position. Les is just going for the kill here.
Finish off the Fran. Out on Ada. Bombs holding the bomb. Ada's holding the bomb right now. Doesn't get set up. There it is. Got killed. Les takes round one away from Thompson. Bomb! We're going to a round five!
We're going to have a fun match.
Thompson! That is going to be it. Thompson taking off his headset, and he can see Les is the champion!
What a game! What a game!
Les is the champion!
一定好啦，都係好彩成分比較大啦。
VIILIPYTTY
Qu'il se manifeste.
Il est où?
J'ai entendu.
Regardez sa bosse, et mesdames et messieurs, le grand champion du monde, son
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SWC 2020 Europe Cup. We've had 6 members from across the world book their ticket to the World Finals, and 2 more will do so by way of Europe. Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel Digon Gonzalez, as I've been all year long, and joining me, of course, are the 2 experts, the biggest brains in the game. It's Stoic and Make It a Bud. Curtis, how you doing today?
Doing really good. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I am pumping all the energy I can because Make It a Bud is very sleepy since it's very, very early here in California, isn't it?
No, we're doing good. It's 5 a.m. It's a little earlier than I'm used to, but of course, always here to bring the action. So we're ready to go.
For sure. And this region has been very, very fun and diverse in its gameplay. But before we hop into the action, we needed to make a statement about SWC 2020 World Finals and how things are going given the fact of COVID-19 has been a big part of the world. This year, the World Finals will be played online. There won't be a live in-person tournament for the safety of all the players. So this year, SWC 2020 Finals will be played online. All right, let's take a look at the Europe Cup itself. 8 players have qualified from the preliminaries, and the top 2 from the Europe Cup will advance to the World Finals. Here you can see we already had our America's Cup, the Asia Pacific Cup, and the China Representative Selection Tournament. And now we have the Europe Cup to see those final 2 spots over for the World Finals, which happen November 21st or 20th, depending on where you live in the world. Today's winner will win $20,000, and of course, the overall World Finals pot will be added to that afterwards. All right, so after that, next up, we have our finalists. Who has made it so far to the World Finals? Well, as we said, we had our America's Cup, we had our China Representative Selection Tournament, and we had our APAC Cup. And there it is, Lest, returning back to defend his crown at the World Finals, was the winner of the China Representative Selection Tournament. Then you've got the APAC Cup representatives taking 3 spots. Mr. Chung was your champion, with Charmy getting 2nd place and Gaia and 3rd. And then our 2 finals from the America's Cup. You got the Canadian representing the America's Cup as the champion. J-Mac, he was able to outlast Trakamu there, who transformed from Gianna to Giano. But really, for Trakamu, it was really just happiness making it into the tournament as we take a look at the action. Guys, why don't we recap one more time here, our 2 finals here from the America's Cup.
I mean, we just saw some really solid gameplay coming from both Trakamu and J-Mac, and both very emotional players. You can see all the stress and how much that's meant to them. And of course, just the way they drafted was very excellent. And of course, once it came to the finals, everyone was having fun. You saw Trakamu with the long hair in there, getting swept 3-0 by J-Mac. But of course, both of them just playing absolutely, really excellently, using Changpeng a lot, using a lot of Okeanoses and a lot of that speed meta to be able to take each other out. So that was super, super interesting. And then in the APAC Cup, we saw last week, we just saw a little bit more unconventional play, I'll just put it that way, in that they still balance speed for the most part, but up until the finals. But they use a lot of Chiu, a lot of Daphnis, and a lot of Bastet, which we don't see very often. So it was quite interesting to see that. And of course, the winner, Mr. Chung, was a Gianna abuser. So it was very interesting and expected to see that outcome.
I mean, we could just call it a Gianna aficionado. We don't have to be throwing out names here so early on, Make It a Bud. What the heck, man? It's just...
I mean, anytime you're pulling a Gianna, you're abusing that unit. It is very strong, one of the most powerful units in the meta. So, we on the ladder without Gianna's are a little salty without it. So, of course, Mr. Chung, they're very animated, though, very happy to make it through, and very happy to see that, so passionate about the game there.
Oh, for sure. And then again, Lest outlasting his opponent, a 3-0, a convincing win in the China Representative Selection Tournament. He booked his ticket back to the World Finals to defend his crown from last year. So there it is, our 6 players that have qualified so far for the World Finals, the APAC region having 3. And Stoic, we got to see the different play styles of the tournament, of the players so far in the different regions. Just a quick thought there so far on what we've seen from our 3 tournaments.
I mean, it's great to see Les returning back, you know, our champion from last year. So I'm expecting to see him do very well. And I love seeing all the new faces. J-Mac, Trakamu, well done. It's showing that preparation really came through when it came to America's Cup. I'm hoping to see the same preparation in today's as well. I mean, I'm just super excited to see all these new faces.
Yeah, well, there they are. All 8 players that have qualified for the Europe Cup and trying to etch their name into the echelon of European champions with VIILIPYTTY, SEIISHIZO, ISMOO, CHENE, Knight, ZERPOLITA, OBABO, and ROSITH as your 8 representatives here from the European region. I am, for one, very excited because Europe specifically gets so much representation here, and it's so competitive, given the fact that one of the qualifiers from last year, Boss, didn't even qualify into the top 8 here. So we take a look at the bracket. This is how the matches will shake up. This is single elimination here. So win, you move on. You win 2, you move on to the World Finals. You lose, you're out. And it's pretty brutal. And we start off the first match with CHENE against SEIISHIZO. Then it's X-Knight X96 against ROSITH, OBABO against VIILIPYTTY, and ZERPOLITA against ISMOO. What jumps out at you at these matchups here? Make it a bud.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the crowd favorite is OBABO, so I'm very curious to see how he plays against VIILIPYTTY. VIILIPYTTY is more of a standard player, more Beast Riders, a lot of Sierra type picks. And OBABO, of course, we know he uses that on and has some very fast runes. I mean, playing against him in the ladder is very challenging, given the fact that he understands how to draft so well and a lot of the intricacies between with and without speed lead. So that one jumps out to me. And also SEIISHIZO, of course, another crowd favorite, another Gianna abuser. For the longest time went without a Ganymede and was actually doing pretty well on the ladder. So now that he has had one for about a year now, I'll be curious to see how his game changes this year versus last year.
Well, you saw there the vote prediction from our fans and analysts, and you know, one thing to note is that there wasn't a very clear favorite. We saw in many of the other tournaments, there was very clear favorites who was moving on, who wasn't. But in this one, the most percentage that any single player got was OBABO and CHENE with 16% right there on the screen. You saw the medals that are awarded to our winners as they qualify into the World Finals. But it's going to be a very close matchup. And it all starts with our very first game here, and it's CHENE against SEIISHIZO. Let's take a look at this one here between these two competitors. What do you think about these two players? Make it a bud.
Yeah, I mean, I think both players obviously have a lot of tournament experience. We saw CHENE go very far in the European tournament before, back a couple years ago. I think he actually won the Europe Cup. And the SEIISHIZO always very high on the ladder. CHENE is a known Artarag abuser, but of course in this meta, Artarag isn't as good anymore. And he tends to over-rely on it, or possibly may over-index on it. So we'll see if he's able to adjust with that, maybe play some other higher speed units. And then SEIISHIZO, as we mentioned before, does use Gianna a lot, is a what we call dirty Gianna user, and also uses a lot of Gany Hathor. So it would be interesting to see how they play.
All right, well, let's take a listen to CHENE.
Everyone has a chance to win. I played SWC 4 times now, but my opponents played SWC many times too.
Yeah, and do you know which unit from CHENE sides loves a long game?
Oh man, this one, the army.
Exactly.
It was so hard for me to adapt to this kind of team because it was the first time I saw one.
Absolutely incredible stuff. It's great. I mean, seeing veterans battle it out as they have done there.
Good luck, buddy, because it will gonna be a hard match, and I won't give you an easy time.
There you have it. CHENE giving some insight there. We got to see some of the casters' comments on his gameplay. Was able to qualify not unscathed. Both matches a 2-1, 2-1. And Stoic, what are things that you like here about CHENE?
I mean, CHENE's our most consistent SWC EU player here. He's competed in every single EU SWC, and I feel like that's going to be speaking a whole lot, and maybe as to why everyone thinks he's going to be the crowd favorite in today. Super strong player. I mean, obviously Artarag user. Chris, what else you got on him?
I mean, Artarag. So I see Artarag there, and I also see in his previous matches, Blue is an okay player, but Unarmed is just typically a cleave player, which doesn't work very well. Cleaves don't work very well into auto rag. So I think maybe we didn't get to see Shen's full lineup, and it'll be SEIISHIZO will definitely be a good test for him today.
All right, well, great little bit of analysis there on Shen, but only one part of our first matchup. Again, Shen has had a lot of different, a lot of support here, has one of the highest votes from the audience to make it out of the group, but he's up against SEIISHIZO here, who we'll get to know in just a little bit. Quick thoughts on SEIISHIZO, Stoic.
SEIISHIZO, he's a fast player. I think he missed one.
Yeah, I'm gonna
SWC,
say all of my
so
secrets right
we'll
now, and
see
then
how
the
he does.
enemies are gonna watch out. So when did I start preparing for this tournament? It's like, well, actually, like you're pretty much preparing like all year round because you're just upgrading your account and you're just like, I always play RTA to a certain degree. Like I'm pretty much always in the top 100 for the last, I don't know how many seasons. I think about like a year and a half or two.
The Clash of the Titans, SEIISHIZO against Faust, but also the Clash of the Titans of the big usable speed leads. Sierra against Vanessa.
So I have to play Shen in the first match. I'm familiar with this playstyle. We actually played in 2018 the first match, so it's going to be a rematch of that.
She's going to be restoring some of her health each turn, and another proc. This Sierra is ending it with a bang, and what a way to end.
I go in with confidence. I'm here to win, and I'm gonna beat him this year. So Shen, for this year, you're gonna lose.
Ooh, you like that from SEIISHIZO. Young man from the Netherlands there. Not afraid to call his shot. And so saying, hey, Shen, I hope you're ready to lose. How is he going to be able to do this one, Stoic?
I mean, those are some bold words, that's for sure. If you guys can tell, he's from a guild called Doubt. He's going to be guildies with VIILIPYTTY, so there's 2 Doubt members going to be in here today. As Chris was saying, another Gianna user. And I do believe SEIISHIZO's only missed 1 EU Cup before, so he does have a ton of experience here as well. He's known to be a very quick player.
Well, there it is. You see the fan art there. Wow, that's a really good one. We've seen a lot of different, like, hey, go so-and-so, go win. SEIISHIZO's just getting the straight up, like, photo of himself like he's already won. You know, he's being ingrained into the halls of history here of SWC. And looking to do so with his first matchup in SWC 2020 against Shen here at the Europe Cup. This is such an exciting time. Again, 2 tickets on the line here to the World Finals for 8 very worthy players who a lot of experience in Shen. You've got ROSITH, who was the qualifier last year and the winner of the Europe Cup last year. But for all of you at home, it's time to get ourselves into the first match. So we see you in chat there. I see you, Evan. I see you, J-Mac. I see you, Island Grown. We appreciate y'all. The first match of the Europe Cup starts right now. Stoic, take it away.
All right, guys, here we go. We have our first match with Shen and SEIISHIZO. Pre-bans are going out. You can see Ciara's getting pre-banned by Shen. SEIISHIZO pre-banning Ada.
Actually really like that pre-ban on the Ciara from Shen coming out, understanding that the auto rag is not going to be complete together. So Ciara does tend to do a lot in this meta. Very tanky unit when built properly, and also does a lot of damage. So it's a very smart pre-ban. Interesting to see the auto pre-ban. We see the Oki with the Josephine Hatho response coming out.
Yeah, we're looking at a Fran Ganny. These guys are drafting very, very quickly. Maybe they've done their homework on each other. We'll find out. Fran Ganny for SEIISHIZO. Shen looking at a Viga and a Juno.
Yeah, so far pretty standard drafts here. I'm not exactly sure about taking the Fran at that point in time, but again, completing the Ganny Oki lockdown makes a lot of sense. Shen with a very standard response too. I'm not sure about this Bulwark Amelia here, because this is a lot of a lack of a lot of damage here. So like if either Okeanos or Ganny's banned out here, Bulwark with just an Amelia on its side does no damage. So if Okeanos is banned out here, all we have is a Fran and a Bulwark that SEIISHIZO can control. And then on Shen's side, the only buffer there really is Vigor and then a Josephine, right? But if Okeanos is removed, you really don't have stuns to proc that shield from Josephine. So I'm not a big fan of SEIISHIZO's draft here, actually, and I think favors Shen a lot. This signals with the Diana last pick, he's letting both Bulwark and Amelia through. Likely a ban on that should be, and likely a ban on this Okeanos here. And that's exactly what he takes out. I really like Shen's draft and his position. And of course, the Vigor heals are going to be a little bit awkward with the Bulwark on the field. So it'll be interesting to see how the turn orders pan out to see if he's able to get some heals going. But so far, it looks to be in the favor of Shen.
Yep, definitely going to be agreeing with you here. I think I'm going to favor Shen's draft as well, guys. We're getting into our first match with Shen and SEIISHIZO in today's European Cup. Here we go, guys. We have SEIISHIZO taking first turn. He's got a very quick Ganymede on his hands.
Very quick Ganymede, but also that's a really fast Josephine on Shen's side. I mean, that thing was almost as fast as Ganymede. So interesting to see that Shen has a very well-runed Josephine in the play. So it's going to do a lot in this game here.
Yep, SEIISHIZO with only 4 stacks already going on to the Vigor with that third skill coming out of Bolvac.
Yeah, definitely smart move to use that there. Wants to get that damage out there as soon as possible and make it awkward. Once Vigor uses its skills up, it's going to proc another Bulwark 5 stack. So Shen has some decisions to make, decides to add some damage onto Fran, which is absolutely the correct play here.
Ooh, gets that 3-turn defense break on top of the Fran, gets the additional turn as well, getting a heal block, applying a little bit of damage to that Fran. Ganny possibly going for a reset here. No, choosing to put the glancing onto the Josephine.
Yeah, and that Fran's actually quite squishy. You notice that Fran's actually way past half health here, and it's going to go down pretty soon. I understand that Bulwark can heal here, but Fran is stunned up, so Fran might drop, and once Fran drops, that's a lot of healing gone from SEIISHIZO's side.
Yep, still getting a little bit of sustain using the 3 stacks of knowledge on top of that Bulwark. Everybody's going to be going to sleep here, and he does not have the cleanse up with his Amelia. Amelia crossing his fingers for a freeze and not receiving it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the problem when you use that cleanse from Amelia so far. Everything slept for 2 turns, so you have to wait another turn. And again, that's a lot of damage being pumped out onto the Fran here. Fran only has 1/3 health left, so that thing needs to hang on.
And Fran definitely needs to be holding on here. Juno looking to drop this Fran. Fran's still barely holding on. Shred's going to be locked and loaded. Is that going to be enough to drop the Fran? And it is. Fran's going to be removed from the field. Very good. Looking great for Shen.
Yeah, and you can see Shen fist pumping there, knowing that that is a huge component of the match, taking out that Fran, taking out a lot of heals. If you notice, SEIISHIZO's Bulwark has not done very much at all this game, and Amelia really hasn't done very much in this team. So again, those 2 picks really cost them a lot of tempo, a lot of everything in this matchup here. And so once Fran's out, there's not much gas left in SEIISHIZO's tank.
Yep, there's the sleep to the Amelia. Amelia's going to be down there looking for a stun on Amelia once again. Juno looking to cycle a little bit of attack bar going right after this and getting a despair stun onto that Ganymede as well. Attack break coming out here, possibly onto the Bulwark.
Pretty big despair stun there, but I mean, again, this Juno's pumping out so much damage. Each crit doing 1.8k damage. It's just so much. And again, that buff from Vigor not proccing any more stacks on Bulwark because all it can get is 5 stacks. Again, this Bulwark not doing very much this game.
Yep, 3-turn defense break sitting on top of that Bulwark. He's going to be healing himself up here, choosing to focus down the Vigor, which is probably the right decision here. It's the defense break that's able to apply so much damage. Another despair stun coming out of this Juno. Josephine pummeling more damage into that Bulwark. Look how much this Juno's hitting on a water unit.
I mean, absolutely, this Juno just does so much additional damage. Artifacts, new meta, it does so much. Juno's quite a strong unit, especially into a draft like this that does no damage and doesn't really have a real win condition.
Yep, exactly. And Josephine just landing the stuns on everybody. Hathor putting everybody down here. Looking so good for Shen. Well drafted.
Definitely well drafted. And again, this Amelia and Bulwark, not really sure what that was supposed to do in this game here. I mean, Amelia's been slept the whole game, and there we go.
There you go, guys. Round 1 is getting taken by Shen. What a dominant performance in that round.
I mean, absolutely dominant, but also it comes down to the fact that SEIISHIZO basically drafted a draft with no win condition. Once you take out a unit, you have to build a draft that where if one unit is taken away, you still have a win condition on the board, and he did not. His win condition essentially was a Bulwark with buffs on his own side, but that doesn't do enough. Bulwark only takes out 50% HP from an opposing monster, and last I checked, in order for a monster to go down, it needs to take out 100%, and the remaining units do not do enough damage to take out that 100% with the heals left on Shen's side. So that draft definitely cost SEIISHIZO the match.
Yeah, definitely couldn't agree more. I'm not a fan of an Amelia Bulwark combination together unless you have, like you said, the rest of that ability to remove the HP, because Bulwark only does so much, and then you just need that other unit to help capitalize off of what Bulwark just did, and SEIISHIZO did not have that in his team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bulwark's just not a great unit when your opponent controls your own unit, right? The opponent can control when Bulwark gets those stacks. So we saw a moment there when Vigor used skill 2 once Bulwark had 5 stacks. It's one of those situations like that where the Bulwark just can't do very much. It sits there, it's stunned up. The Amelia doesn't bring enough to the table. I mean, SEIISHIZO is a Gianna abuser. His Sierra was pre-banned, and I was wondering in my head, where was that Gianna? And we never got to see it. And I think that would have changed a lot.
Well, we found the Gianna, guys. It's getting pre-banned this round by Shen. Ragdoll getting pre-banned by SEIISHIZO. Shen's going to get first pick going into this match.
Yeah, we finally see that Gianna icon coming out. It is pre-banned, so we found it there. It is there. And of course, Ragdoll being pre-banned makes sense. It is not a unit that he has, so it makes sense to take out that LD. We see the Sierra first pick into an Oki frame. So interesting that Shen has decided that if he gets first pick, Sierra is the most contested unit. So I like his frame of thinking coming into this. Sierra is just such a good unit in this meta, and also against SEIISHIZO.
Yep, Okeanos Fran coming out for SEIISHIZO. Once again, the Josephine Vega coming out for Shen.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure about laying down a Josephine so early. It signals that A, the Okeanos is going through, B, he's going for turn 2 a lot. In order to play this way, he's going to need to probably draft a Molly later, and Sierra also needs to be super tanky. So it's going to be conditional on those types of builds coming out from his team. And so SEIISHIZO with that Savannah, very, very good pick here. Water Monkey's a little interesting because Sierra tends to be okay, pretty decent into Water Monkey, and it's not exactly, doesn't have burst potential. Without a defense break. So Savannah's kind of the weak point in SEIISHIZO's draft, and tentatively the ban so far.
Yep, SEIISHIZO drafting a little bit more damage than he did last time, hoping to turn it around going into this round 2 with Shen. Shen looking at a Diana. Does he choose to lock it in with one other unit? Wraps up his draft with Ada.
Yeah, I'm not sure of wrapping it up with Arda here. I would have preferred to see a piece of immunity or some other way, some other support. Arda's not really good into this specific matchup here. You have Okeanos that can control it. You have Savannah that can defense break it, and Water Monkey can sometimes stun it. So I think Arda's a little bit weak here. I would have preferred to see an Ileana or some sort of a Molly here. So that kind of opens up being controlled here. But at the same time, if Savannah is banned, there might not be enough damage coming out from SEIISHIZO's side. And definitely not so much, not enough if Shen had picked a Molly last or some sort of healing or way to come back.
We'll see, because bans are going to be coming out shortly. A lot of control coming out of SEIISHIZO. Does have a lot of damage on Shen's side of the field. Both teams have, well, both teams don't have a form of immunity. SEIISHIZO with a form of immunity.
Yeah, and I think Vigor should be the ban coming out from SEIISHIZO on the Shen. Chooses not to, chooses to take out Josephine. Vigor has that speed buff, so it allows him to come back. And I think Savannah should have been the ban coming out from Shen because Savannah is going to allow SEIISHIZO to kill off a unit. So we'll see if everything's going to be able to be controlled and how much damage SEIISHIZO is going to do off that.
Well, Shen's got the speed lead. It's going to be taking first turn going into round 2 with Sen and SEIISHIZO. And the Savannah is going to be taking that turn here. Very fast Savannah.
Yeah, very fast Savannah here, but at the same time, most of the things on Shen's side are completely on Will here. So I think Shen's going to be able to get a lot off with this team.
Yep, definitely. Does get that strip confirmed onto that Vigor as well. We have the reset does land on top of CR, but a Despair Stun's coming out onto the Okeanos. Diana looking to cycle.
Yeah, that's an absolutely massive stun on the Okeanos because the Fran has to make a choice of adding immunity or waking up that Okeanos. So a lot of CC's going to be missing. That's a ton of damage coming out from that Diana.
Ton of damage coming out of Diana, and Vigor's going to be dropping the Water Monkey King. Shen putting SEIISHIZO immediately on the back foot.
Yeah, and Shen highly emotional here. You see the constant fist pumps coming. He's super happy. That is way too squishy for a Water Monkey. SEIISHIZO does not look very happy about his situation, and he's in a rough spot here. That Okeanos is going to move likely after that Ciara here. So Shen's in a really good spot and likely going to take this down 2-0.
Shen's definitely in a very good spot right now. He's going to keep working down that Savannah, looking to get it dismounted. Rain of Stones coming out. Can he confirm stuns on everybody? Does get the additional turn here. Focus damage onto the CR, but we have Diana cycling out. Is definitely going to be knocking this Beast Rider right off the Beast.
Definitely will do so. That is 4k damage per hit. That is so much damage for a Diana. And that Savannah is being dismounted. There is really no form of damage coming out from Shen's side. He does have anti-crit. I don't see any way he can lose this match.
I don't see a way he can lose this match either. Diana being very oppressive, not confirming the stun there. It's not going to be mattering here, though. Fran's going to be throwing up that immunity, healing up the team, but not healing up that Savannah.
Yeah, definitely not healing. There we go.
There you have it, guys. Round 2 is going to Shen. Shen's going to be moving forward in today's tournament. Well done.
Well done by Shen here. And of course, Shen, both players, you can see highly emotional. SEIISHIZO very upset when he got stunned there, and also just upset at losing in general. Shen very pumped every time a unit went down. I think that draft came down to early on, Shen just had Will up on every unit, and SEIISHIZO's draft kind of got popped too early, right? That Diana just did so much damage into the Water Monkey, and SEIISHIZO didn't really have a way to be able to survive that initial onslaught once he wasn't able to control the team. And just kind of put him in a really tough position.
Yeah, and definitely even in that last match there, the Despair Revenge stun on the Okeanos really just put SEIISHIZO right on out of the tournament. As much as he's like, hey, you ready to lose? He actually ended up eating his own words. And Shen, the fan favorite, the prediction favorite at 16%, only one win away from possibly booking his ticket here to the World Finals. It just happened lickety quick, just like that. And so now he'll be moving on to the best of fives here. So our first rounds, everything in the quarterfinals are best of threes, and he'll be moving on to the best of fives. But our next best of three has our previous Europe Cup experience with ROSITH in there. And this is going to be a big matchup against Knight X96. This tournament, of course, brought to you by Google Play. Find your arena and discover the latest and greatest games today, just like that Despair Revenge stun. That was also brought to you by Google Play. That was just, what a way to go there for Shen to qualify on in. But again, Knight X96. Got to make sure we get the X's in here, because if you put the X's in your name to try and make yourself sound cool, well then we got to go ahead and follow up against ROSITH. Let's take a look at X96.
And everything is on the line. When the brackets got announced, I was really sad, because I like Rosie a lot and he's a really strong player, so I'm pretty scared of him. But other than that, I'm also really confident.
Second skill up with glancing debuff. So if he's gonna be able to...
Oh my god, that was a huge sleep, sealing the deal for this game. That was so hype, actually.
I think the biggest advantage I have is because I play way more RTA than him. Of course, I'm a bit nervous because it's my first big tournament I ever played in, but I'm also really confident because I think I can make it. Hey Rosie, I'm actually pretty sad that we have to fight each other in the first round. I think we're really close friends, and I'm still looking forward to our fight. May the better one win.
Could hear the humility, maybe a little bit of nerves there from Knight X96, but I feel like he's confident, and he showed exactly why. You saw him defeat VIILIPYTTY there in the preliminaries to get himself into this playoffs, and him and ROSITH, both guildies and familiar with each other, aren't they, Stoic?
Yep, very much so. He's one of 3 Squad Zero members here, and he's going up against ROSITH. He's the second member there for Squad Zero. Obviously, it's going to be a tough one for him, and we know ROSITH as the champion of last year's and going into Worlds, so it's definitely a tough match for him. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, we saw the most picked units. It just says aggression. Beast Riders, Ciara, I like that style of play. Very humble guy. I know he streams quite often, haven't been able to catch it very often, but of course, very smart player, and we saw a Bellinus in one of those clips, so I expect a lot of aggression. I like that style a lot, very typical of this region, and it'll be fun to see what he's bringing to the table.
Yep, well, his opponent, when you look at the whole world stage as a whole in SWC 2020, Lest is returning, but no returning members from the America's Cup. ROSITH trying to return back to the world stage.
She's my #1 supporter. I love her a lot. Well. For me, it makes more sense to say that OBABO is the strongest opponent of this year. Compared to last year, he got much more monsters, and he has every tool in his pocket, I think, to win Europe Cup. I'm so sad to fight Knight in the first round because he has strong monsters, strong runes, and of course he's smart, he does very well, and we don't want to fight each other, that's it also, but...
Any proc here from Rosie's side is gonna be huge, but he... Oh my god, that's very huge, because now the Oberon can either nuke something up or ventilate the Vanessa.
What would I say tonight before the match is, do your best, use everything you can to beat me, and don't forget to use your Dark Unicorn Alexandra.
Again, we see it in the chat. The Squid Squad, Squad 0 being represented well. ROSITH losing his first match to SEIISHIZO, but then able to bounce back with Sapin and Unarmed taking the victory there. What are your thoughts on our returning member from Worlds last year, ROSITH?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just a very solid player overall, and he has one of the widest boxes in the tournament today. He has Elenoa, he has Ragdoll, he has apparently Dark Monkey, as we saw in the clip there. He has just so many LD units. It'll be interesting to see how he combines it with standard units and how the speeds stack up to his opponent, who brings in a lot of speed and aggression in the game. So if ROSITH has spread his runes out too thin, it could cost him, but it also gives him a lot of diversity. So I think this is going to be a fun matchup to see, and I can't wait to see how the drafts unfold.
All right, well, you see the guys are raring to go here. And again, we've seen all of you tonight in the chat getting up early here in the States. So, Flaffy, we see you out there. Gigi, thank you for joining us. Here we go. Match number 2 underway. Stoic, get us into the match with X-Knight X96 and ROSITH, the Guildies, going out in the quarterfinals.
That's right, you said it. Here we go, guys. We have our first match between ROSITH and X-Knight X96. Pre-bans coming out right now.
Yeah, and I think from X-Knight X96, we're going to see a pre-ban on the Ragdoll first, just because that's the basically what's going to disrupt his aggressive playstyle. So, and we see a Barber pre-ban, so I guess the two really know each other very well. Barber's typically not pre-banned very often, but ROSITH probably clearly sees that as being a key unit for X-Knight X96. So we'll be interested to see what they go with first, and of course, favoring the CR first pick. Very interesting, but also a very good first pick.
Yep, ROSITH taking that CR in there. X-Knight hovering. Fran Vanessa locks that in as well. ROSITH looking to respond.
Yeah, very interesting take on the Vanessa right away, because Sierra and Vanessa together aren't very good. So that can definitely be taken later. Flashing the blue Huadam there. So clearly having a little fun here, flashing the Alexandra. But again, I'm not sure about that Vanessa take there. It allows ROSITH to kind of take more key units like Oki and Bigger in that spot.
Yeah, I do believe both these players have Alexandra. I'm not sure we're going to be seeing the Alexandra coming from both of them. But Savannah's looking at being drafted by X-Knight. One other unit.
I mean, it would be incredibly fun to see an Alexander drafted, but fortunately, we may not see that. I would like to see ROSITH take some sort of support unit, having both ponies, so I guess ROSITH likely has all 5 colored ponies here. Would be a dream to see a 5-pony draft here, but I don't think we're going to see that. I would like to see some sort of support coming out, like in form of immunity, or some way to counter this Savannah. Mosh and Savannah bring in a lot of threat here and could take out either Sierra or Okeanos off the bat. So Chiwu being a very good response. You can either outspeed or you can go for the turn 2 type play. ROSITH definitely going for the outspeed type comp. Chiwu probably is going to be the tentative ban here, but it also could make sense to take out some other intermediary unit like a Vigor or an Okeanos.
Yep, most definitely. ROSITH wrapping up his draft with a Chiwu and a Dark Monkey King. X-Knight X drafting a Praha to wrap up his draft.
Praha's a little interesting here. I'm not exactly sure about that. He's probably thinking there's not enough burst on ROSITH's side, so Sierra is likely the ban here, and he's just going to fight for turn 2. Instead, actually goes for the Chiwu ban, so it's either going to be one of the two, because Chiwu sets up the team a lot, but now there's going to be a lot of damage coming out from ROSITH's side of the field.
Yep, most definitely. Speed lead coming out of ROSITH, and we know him to be very fast with great runes. He's probably going to be taking first turn here, and we're going into our first match with X-Knight X96 and ROSITH, our EU Cup champion of last year. Let's see how this match is going to be turning out for the two of them. Guildy versus Guildy. Definitely interesting to see this. Squad 0 going head to head.
Both of them looking highly concentrated, probably waiting with the loading screen on there. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. But maybe there might be some technical difficulties, so we may be going back to the studio if they're not already already in the game, but it does look like they're very animated and very focused. So there could be a game going on that might need to be paused at some point.
I need you to explain to me this My Little Ponies kind of composition that you're trying to build here with all 5 colors, Chris. Like, what does that mean, Megan Buddy? They were just flexing that they had those units, right? This is a real
Absolutely.
thing.
I mean, they're flexing, but you know, it would be fun. A lot of times when people are streaming or on the ladder, there are challenges that people like to do for fun where they take all 5 colors of the unit just to see what happens, which is usually a loss. But it would be very fun to see that come out. And you know, obviously we're not going to see that today. There's a lot of money and World Finals on the line.
Right. So I just got word there was a matchup issue. Obviously, we got to see the draft, so I assume they'll probably play out the same draft. Not exactly sure, but something that we're going to go ahead and work on as soon as we have the information. We'll pass that one over. But I wanted to pose this question to you guys again, because they are guildies. Do you feel like we're going to see something unconventional because they've played against each other so many times, Stoic? Because I feel like you might not have the same traditional draft that you would against a random opponent, right?
Well, I know they're very, very good friends. So we're definitely expecting to see them know each other. Hopefully they both have their homework done and their notes on each other. But it's definitely going to be some friendly but competitive play coming out of both of them.
Yeah, that's the hope here. And so the Dark Monkey King was the last pick that came out there, the Sun Zheng Lao. Why was that selected, and how does that change the composition of the team that led to the Chiwu ban?
I mean, the Chiwu sets up everything. So like if the Chiwu goes off, it reduces your opponent's attack bar, and it also gives you a speed lead, right? So once it, you know, typically sits in the 310 range, 315, and if you're OBABO, probably higher. But once it goes off, your entire team goes off. And underneath Chiwu, he has Okeanos and Sun Zheng, the Dark Monkey, right? And so Dark Monkey has a very high base speed. So if either of them can get off, like let's say Chiwu is allowed through the draft here, you're gonna have an AoE stun from something. And that's a lot of damage to be taking on your team here. So it makes a lot of sense that Chiwu is the ban. So you're left with Sierra, Okeanos, Vigor, and the Sun Zheng Lao. So that tells me that X9X is probably on a lot of will runes and is probably going to try to survive something, is the game plan that he has in mind.
Gotcha. All right. Hey, we had a quick question from the chat. Both of you guys, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this because you're both obviously professionals. You got pajama pants on, or are you wearing the full suit? Because I'm wearing pants. We got the full suit here, so I'm asking you guys at home. You guys got the full suit on, right? You don't have to show. You don't have to show. It was just a question. We were just wondering.
It's an interesting question.
TOS, there's pants.
That's it, Chris? You're not going to give me the answer?
I said you'll never know. You'll never know.
All right, there it is.
This is the privilege of being remote here. You will never know.
See, so there you go. Interactive with all of you at home, everybody. So sounds like they have to redraft the match. So they're going through that process right now. Both ROSITH and X-Knight X96. They will be using the same draft from match 1, and then it'll take off once that gets started. And again, you know, given how difficult it can be in the world right now, everything remote, these things happen, so we appreciate the patience. And obviously, these two guys not trying to level up each other or saying, hey, you know what, I don't like this draft all that much, let me go ahead and disconnect. So let's hop back on into the action with Stoic and Make It a Bud for our second match of the tournament.
All right.
So well, looks like here we go again, guys. Yep, should be the exact same drafts going into this one. Pre-bans coming out. We know the Ragdoll, the Barbara, and then we should be seeing the exact same drafts. That first pick coming out of ROSITH, and then so on with X-Knight X.
I mean, wow, so impressive. These players able to draft without thinking, laying things down so quickly. I mean, they clearly done their homework here.
Definitely done their homework here. Same bands as well, of course.
So in this draft here, you're going to see a turn 2 play coming from X-Knight X, and his draft is likely going to be able to take out a unit of ROSITH. I don't think he has enough. ROSITH has enough burst here.
Nope. Well, we're going into our match right now with X-Knight X96 and ROSITH, our last year's European Cup champion. Here we go, guys. Does land that reset on the Savannah with the Okeanos. Gets that strip defense break on top of Fran. Shred is coming out to deal some serious damage to the Fran, and CR is going to be primed and ready with this bomb on top of Fran. Quickly detonating it. We're getting into this thing real fast.
Well, I stand corrected here. That Dark Monkey did so much damage, and that Vigor also did a ton of damage here. So X9X actually does lose a unit off the bat here. So X9X is actually on the back foot in a pretty rough spot, but that Praha is going to be able to put everything to sleep.
That's right, Praha is going to be using that third skill, healing up just a little bit, putting everybody to sleep here. Is he still going to be taking advantage of that defense break on top of Ciara? We're going to find out. Or is he going to focus down the Dark Monkey King? And he is with that additional turn as well.
Yeah, definitely does not want to wake up the other units, but kind of in a rough spot here because now he's stunned up and he loses tempo, and Savannah doesn't have skills up yet, so he doesn't have the ability to get speed buff on his team. Is not going to be able to take anything out and trade units.
That is correct, and we had that second skill coming out of the Vigor, healing up a little bit, gets the speed buff, and that anti-crit up as well. Defense break sitting on top of Masha. Ciara choosing to go after the Savannah and not capitalize off of the defense break on Masha, but that is fine. It's building a little bit of attack power there.
Yeah, ROSITH's in a really good spot here. He has anti-crit up on 3 units here. This Okeanos is going to be able to survive pretty much anything. And that Vigor, while it did a lot of damage, likely on CD build, again, just not enough steam in X9X's hands left, and he's going to lose this one.
Yep, that's right. Bomb does land on top of the Praha. We get the additional turn coming out of the Mash. Is it going to be enough damage to finish out Ciara? Definitely not. Shred's going to be coming out here looking for a defense break. Doesn't matter. ROSITH is taking round 1 against X9X.
Yeah, very well drafted by ROSITH there. I mean, took out the Fran early, clearly understood the speeds of the match and knew the turn orders coming out, so his win condition was sniping out the Fran, resetting the Savannah. So in that situation, drafted very well, and of course, banning out the Vanessa so that, you know, once a unit is gone, it's gone forever.
Yeah, very quick play coming out of ROSITH. Very certain, very well-controlled, well-thought-out draft coming from ROSITH, and that's exactly what we all expect to see coming from a European Cup champion.
Yeah, exactly what we need to see. And actually for X9X, I mean, if he wanted to win, he needed either Oki to resist the Savannah to resist the reset from Oki, or the Fran to resist the defense break. Getting hit with the skill 2 from the Oki is about a 70% chance, and the Fran getting hit with the defense break, I think it's just a standard 85%. So you're looking at pretty close to a 60-40 split there in terms of who's going to win. 60% being who's going to, if ROSITH can land everything or not. It really does come down to probabilities when you're thinking about taking first turn and popping a unit and how many things are going to land correctly. It comes down to that. ROSITH did the math in his head, and that's how he was able to come on top there.
Well, here we go, guys. We're getting into round 2 with ROSITH and X9X. Pre-bans are coming out. We see that Dark Monkey King getting pre-banned by X-Knight. He doesn't want to see it again. And Ciara getting pre-banned by ROSITH.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Monkey, very, very strong unit here with the high base speed and the ability to strip and add defense break, and then AoE stun. It just does so much as an LD unit. And then Ciara, of course, a pre-ban because it is a very strong unit in this meta. X9X responding with a Fran first pick, which is an interesting first pick, kind of locks him in that 270, 280 speed range, which allows ROSITH to either go and outspeed or actually go completely turn 2 if he wants. And so far, he's looking like he wants to go for speed with the Vanessa Okeanos.
And Vanessa Okeanos for ROSITH. X9X looking at a Vigor. We've seen a lot of Vigor coming in at this time of the match.
Yeah, so X9X 96 dropping that Vigor, and likely to also going to add probably some sort of Josephine or Amali. It goes with the Savannah. So interesting take on the Savannah when there's 2 fire units left on ROSITH's side. You know, and if ROSITH immediately drops a Triana and the Ragdoll here, I'm not sure about that Triana drop because Triana tends to be a very stationary unit, but it is quite good into Vigor and Savannah.
Ooh, interesting draft coming out of X-Knight. We're going to be seeing a Molly, which obviously the combination of Molly and Vigor is very, very powerful.
Yeah, and it's not just that, but if you look at ROSITH's side, once Vanessa's defense break is gone, he lacks a lot of burst. And this game is all about burst and being able to take a unit down because there's so much heals coming out from X9X's side here. So taking the Vigor, he's going with the turn cycling comp. If you want to note that Vigor and Savannah do have dyssynergies in that both bring speed buff. So the 2 are not great together. I think Ethna is definitely going to be the ban here. X9X, when he drafts this way, is planning on surviving that burst, in whatever burst ROSITH may have. ROSITH's win condition is landing a defense break from that Vanessa and then killing with the Ragdoll. But I really like X9X's draft here, as long as some sort of glancing can protect that Savannah from going down.
Well, let's see if X9X can outlast ROSITH going into round 2 between the both of them. X9X needs to win this one if he thinks he's going to be holding on and staying in this competition. Here we go. We have first turn be taken by ROSITH. We've got Okeanos step up with a nice strip reset. Let's see if it's going to be landing on top of that Fran potentially.
Yeah, I think it should be going on this Fran here because the Triana does move in front of Savannah, means he's going to be able to get immunity up on his team to protect himself from defense breaks, and that's why he's going for the attack bar reduction on that Triana. But again, there's that ragdoll on the side, which means that everything moves up in attack bars. Okeanos moves later on. It's going to do a lot of damage to X9X.
You can definitely see all that damage coming up from Vanessa on top of Fran, getting the defense breaks on all of ROSITH's units, almost removing that Triana from the field. Definitely a great stat for X-Knight.
Huge amount of damage coming out in that Triana. Let's see if ROSITH picks up on that and switches targets, and that's exactly what he does here. Recognizes that in order to do that much damage, you must be squishy, and you see that Savannah's already past half HP.
Well, X-Knight does have the sustain on his team to potentially keep his team alive. Looking for the strip on the immunity on top of the Triana. Does receive it there. Possibly going for an attack break on a Ragdoll. Does receive that attack break as well. Rain of Stones does not stun up everybody on X-Knight's team. He still has that Savannah. Savannah was looking to finish off the Triana. Doesn't do it yet and gets it on the second time. He gets revived back with the Vanessa passive.
Yeah, and actually, this is quite a tanky Savannah. It's actually not dying right away, but again, has defense break on and might go down here.
Ooh, does go down here. Not looking good for X-Knight. That's his big source of damage. Ragdoll attack broken, still dealing plenty of damage there. Okeanos could finish off here with the first kill and does so.
Yeah, and X9X needs to take out that Triana right now and then survive over time, but decides to go after the Vanessa and change targets, not going for damage on that Triana. I don't know if this is going to work long term. Don't think he has enough damage to take out ROSITH's side at this point.
I don't think X-Knight's going to have the damage here. He has plenty of sustain, but it's just not going to do enough here. ROSITH has got way too much gas in the tank with the units that he's got on the field right now. Okeanos possibly looking for a strip reset on top of the Vigor and does not receive it there.
Yeah, and X9X's window of opportunity is landing a defense break on that Vanessa. He has picked up that Vanessa, is quite squishy here, but X9X needs to get a speed buff online if he wants to start outpacing ROSITH and come back. It's not over by any means. He definitely has a chance to come back, and his window of opportunity is using Fran with skill 1 and then skill 3 coming out with Vigor to take out that Vanessa Su Triana pass.
Yep, he's trying to get those attack breaks to limit the damage on ROSITH's side of the field. Does land that attack break onto the Ragdoll. Ragdoll going for more damage on top of Vigor.
Yeah, and if you note that Vigor's taking quite a bit of damage, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was on crit damage build. So that does do a lot of damage. But again, at the same time, I mean, X9X is kind of on the back foot here. Does need a cycle and proc a lot if he wants to.
Yeah, I do believe it is on a crit damage build. You see that he didn't have to use that heal on the Vigor, but chose to do it because he knows, I think we can tell, that is not that tanky of a unit. He's looking to get as much damage that he can on this field using that Vigor.
Yeah, both players excellent at counting cooldowns here. That immunity preventing Vigor from landing skill 3 with that defense break. So that's exactly what X9X needed to do and wasn't able to get it.
Yep, most definitely. Ragdoll almost finishing off the Fran there. Fran with the additional turn, trying to get this Vanessa down as much as possible. Not looking good for X9X anymore. Landing that reset on top of the Vigor as well. You can see the damage from the Triana still trying to pummel away at this poor Vigor. Vigor is going to be going down here shortly.
Yeah, massive damage coming out on that Triana. That does so much damage. And again, ROSITH looking so strong here.
ROSITH looking very strong, getting the 2-0 on X9X. ROSITH is going to be moving forward in today's tournament.
Yeah, what a game here. And of course, ROSITH waving his lucky charm, that violent rune to the camera. I don't know if he needed any violent procs there. I don't think he got too many in that game either. I just think it came down to that Triana not being taken out, that Savannah melting a little bit. Just based on turn orders, maybe not enough Molly glancings, but overall I think pretty solidly drafted by both players. It just came down to who got what procs and resists, and of course I think just in that front, things landed and ROSITH's unit died early.
Yep, so ROSITH able to move on closer, one step closer here to the World Finals. So we'll have an all-French semifinals, a best of 5 to see who will be going to the World Finals between ROSITH and CHENE. But in that matchup there against his guildie X-Knight X96, it felt like experience triumphed over the newcomer in this matchup, didn't it, Stoic?
Yeah, it really, really did there. So, I mean, X-Knight, first time being in SWC, had a tough match going up against his guildie, and of course it's going to be, the champion from EU last year, so tough match for him. Honestly, it was well drafted and well played by the both of them, but Make It a Bud couldn't have nailed it any better than that. Like, it came down to RNG, and it was just in ROSITH's favor this time.
Yeah, RNG favoring the side of, I guess, less defensive side. It was a very defensive draft there by X96, but not quite enough. Which brings us to the lower side of the bracket. We got that top side semifinals already locked on in, and it's time for some of our heavy hitters. OBABO, who seems to be one of the tournament favorites, coming up here against VIILIPYTTY, a man short, not short of any confidence or personality. You see him flexing for the camera there. They're ready to go here. So OBABO coming from Sweden against VIILIPYTTY from Finland. So the battle of the lands currently happening. But I wanted to get your take real quick before we hop into the video of OBABO. Never mind. Let's hop into that.
Industrial engineering. And then on the side, I also study RTA. In Summer's War specifically, I feel like it's not so much about region, it's more player to player. But right now, I would say that I'm comfortable going up against everyone.
And, I love this play coming in from OBABO, resetting the Diana, letting her cycle once again. And if we see a huge proc from Diana, oh my god, will this be a Diana solo? That is a dead Sierra for sure.
I think Vili's always going to be a scary matchup regardless of the player you are, because it always feels like he's gonna outspeed you because of his room quality.
OBABO is thinking 5 steps ahead of his opponent.
Vili, if you still feel like being a replacement player, I'm sure that opportunity still exists. So just take it if you want it.
Man, these EU guys, like all of our America's Cup guys are so nice, respectful. The Asia Cup guys are like, yeah, I kind of don't know the other guy, but best of luck. Our European guys not afraid to talk some smack. So OBABO, our third member here of Squad Zero, the Squid Squad, and you know, probably a pretty good reason why OBABO is confident. 2-0 against CHENE, and then 2-0 against ISMOO as well to book his ticket to the Europe Cup.
I mean, OBABO is a very solid player, and of course lacks no confidence. I mean, he's been streaming for a while, and he's always been at the top of the ladder, even without Gani Hathor. Now he's got Gani Hathor, his Han got a buff, and he's got at least two very, very fast Swift sets, which makes it very difficult to draft against him. He can take turn 1 against you if he wants to, and being able to dictate that if he wants in a draft makes it very tricky to play against him. So he's also very creative with his draft, so I really look forward to seeing what kind of toys he's bringing today.
Yeah, definitely. But his opponent, VIILIPYTTY, no stranger to adversity and controversy. VIILIPYTTY willing to take this battle on, and I think if someone has a shot against OBABO, it's this young man right here.
SWC is everything to me. If it's not me who is winning, then it is I. Which player I would be most aware of in the tournament? I think the first round match is OBABO. Actually, it's very hard to say who is the most biggest threat. When I played the first round and dropped to the losers bracket, I was like, damn it, it's happening again. Destiny just is so unfair.
This could be VIILIPYTTY's first entry into the EU Cup.
It's meant to happen that I'm going to be replacement or replacement of replacements, but then I could actually get in the tournament from the losers bracket.
Done it! Yes! I'm so happy for him. He got so close 2 years in a row. He was our replacement player.
OBABO, I wonder if you are going to get haircut this tournament or before it, because if you still have them, they are going to be flying, and I'm going to be the cause of that.
Well, VIILIPYTTY trying to qualify on into the tournament by blowing away his competition. The guilty from Doubt here. VIILIPYTTY 2-0 against Fatarti, 1-2 against X96, and then 2-0 against Sinshei to book his ticket, being more than just a replacement player, and here to wrestle his opponents to submission. That's what they made me read. Stoic, what do you think about VIILIPYTTY's box and his play?
Well, he definitely means it when he wrestled them into submission. He's actually a 2013 wrestling champion, so VIILIPYTTY, he's not new to competition, that's for sure. So I'm looking to see this guy do very, very well today. He did like his Beast Riders in prelim, so I'm expecting to possibly see these coming from him again.
Yeah, and if you head on over to the SWC Esports channel and take a look at our European personality pieces there, VIILIPYTTY not short of confidence at all. There's a clip of him like climbing this massive pillar log thing. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm sure it prepared him for this matchup. And again, the Europe Cup and all of SWC brought to you by Google Play. Find new arenas and discover the latest and greatest games today only on Google Play. We're going to discover who is moving on to the semifinals right now with Stoic and Make It a Bud here. VIILIPYTTY and OBABO. Match number 3 is underway.
Well, here we go, guys. We have our first match between OBABO and VIILIPYTTY. OBABO being one of our, or I think the youngest player in today's tournament. And let's see how he does going up against the wrestling coach. We've got pre-bans going out. Okeanos getting pre-banned by OBABO and Han getting pre-banned by VIILIPYTTY.
Yeah, and I think OBABO may lead out with a Sierra here or a Chiwu. And because he favors, you looked at both of the most picked units here, and they were all speed-based. It was all Okeanos, Chiwus, Ganny Hathors. So no surprise to see the split between Chiwu into Sierra. OBABO clearly is likely going to go with some sort of a speed comp here. Chiwu into probably some sort of a Ganny Hathor or something like that. And VIILIPYTTY, of course, taking the Sierra Savannah. So interesting take on the Savannah at this point, but probably doing that just to deny OBABO that pick.
Ooh, OBABO drafting the Ganny Hathor with that Chiwu as well. VIILIPYTTY still with that CR. And Savannah looking to possibly respond after seeing a Ganny Hathor. Maybe some immunity to help cover his back here.
Yeah, he might need some immunity with a ban on that Chiwu. It's a little difficult to say at this point, but OBABO being able to lay down Ganny Hathor, you don't actually see at the high ends of the ladder Ganny and Hathor being taken together often because they can be countered. But VIILIPYTTY laying down Sierra and Savannah don't quite have a good response to Ganny Hathor, and that's why he's able to do that. So now he takes a Esna and a Juno, which is in response to likely going to be banning out this Chiwu here, and then surviving some sort of a Ganny Hathor.
Well, Daphnis being picked by OBABO. One last pick to wrap up his draft here, and it's going to be that Verti-Heal. Does he choose to lock it in? And I believe he is. He does lock in Daphnis and Verti-Heal for OBABO. VIILIPYTTY looking to respond after seeing those two units.
Yeah, so I think OBABO here, I think VIILIPYTTY's best chance of winning is likely taking out that Chiwu, just because once OBABO's team goes off, it's too hard to be able to survive. And by taking that Vigor, he's telling us that he does want to survive over time. So he may actually be splitting Ganny Hathor. But again, taking out Chiwu is always generally okay, because if Chiwu goes through, the whole team goes off. But what we're going to see here is we're going to see possibly a Savannah opening, but that Daphnis is going to go off. There's no real way to stop it, aside from Ethna into a Sierra, but then there's a Ganny Hathor behind. So I like OBABO's situation here. He may lose a unit, though, off the bat. We'll see, depending on speeds.
Yep, we'll definitely be seeing it here. We're going into this first match with OBABO and VIILIPYTTY. Ethna is going to be taking first turn here. Third skill is going to be coming out.
Yeah, so VIILIPYTTY here does need to take out a unit with this opening matchup here. Otherwise, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to lose a unit of his own versus that Daphnis. So he needs to take out a unit with this opening exchange.
Yep. Ooh, but we do see the revenge coming from that Verti-Heal. Verti-Heal's able to push forward.
Yeah, Verti-Heal able to get that revenge. So really, really lucky by OBABO here. And again, this Daphnis likely going to take out the Sierra, and then and unfortunately does miss there. So that's a giant miss.
Huge miss, not getting that strip defense break on top of that CR, but we can see the Verti-Heal is going to be cycling a little bit of attack bar going right after that CR, but bomb's going to be coming out. If you can drop this Hathor, it's definitely going to be a little bit of saving grace for VIILIPYTTY. Choosing to put that bomb on the Verti-Heal instead, goes to the detonate, gets the stun as well. Additional turns coming out of CR, taking advantage of that defense break, sitting on top of Hathor. Ethna looking to drop this Hathor here, does not get the kill on the Hathor just yet.
Yeah, absolutely monstrous resistor, and at the same time, stun goes out on Verti-Heal here, but again, that Ventilate goes on to Daphnis. Daphnis is going to be able to take out a unit here, but again, I don't know if OBABO has enough to be able to withstand this onslaught coming.
Daphnis drops that CR. Savannah drops that Hathor, going unit for unit right now. Is the Daphnis going to be enough for OBABO to hold on? We're going to find out. Juno looking to drop the Daphnis, not just yet. Glancing, sitting on top of Ethna. Ethna with a little bit of poke damage. I do believe the dot's going to be enough. And the Juno is going to be going after that Verti-Heal.
Yeah, definitely not. That Daphnis is definitely going to go down. You see that dot there. It doesn't have a shield up. It's going to go down. I don't think a Vertihile and a Ganymede together are going to be enough because there's too much health on Velipitty's side here. Does ventilate that Daphnis just in case it was able to survive, but unfortunately is not. So I don't think OBABO is going to be able to have this one.
Yep, that is correct. See that third skill coming out, stunning up the Vertihile. And there you have it, VIILIPYTTY with the surprising round 1 win over OBABO.
Wow, and that one came down. I mean, the third revenge proc is very, very lucky from OBABO's side there. So without that proc, he might have lost some sort of form of control there. But at the same time, that just missing that skill 3 from the Daphnis, I mean, that sealed the deal there. When he missed that, not even stripping the Sierra, not that I don't think the strip would matter, but I mean, just missing that completely was pretty huge there. And then, you know, that Verd being stunned up, it was just too much for OBABO to take.
We may have had a different pace if he did get that kill immediately onto the CR, but we'll never know, guys. We're going into round 2 with OBABO and VIILIPYTTY.
Yeah, I mean, if that CR was taken out there, VIILIPYTTY would be down to you, but it was also very tanky. You note that even without being stripped, it was 10k plus 10k, meaning that I wouldn't be surprised to see that Sierra survive, but it would depend on what kind of artifacts it's got on the left side, if it's got minus fire there. But either way, we'll never know if it would have survived or not from a defense break from the Daphnis. But highly unlucky from OBABO to miss with his Daphnis, and that cost him the match. But that's SWC. When you're playing at the highest levels, you do need to take risks like that.
Well, here we go, guys. You can see the pre-bans from last time. Okeanos getting pre-banned by OBABO, and that Han getting pre-banned by VIILIPYTTY. New pre-bans should be coming out shortly.
Yeah, in this case, VIILIPYTTY does have first pick here, so it'll be interesting to see how that Sierra and Chiwu balance goes. I think both players are going to favor those speed leads. OBABO typically is going to want double speed lead in the form of Sierra and Chiwu. So very smart pre-ban on the Leo. I really like that because he knows that he has a Han in his back pocket. VIILIPYTTY is forced to take that Sierra first now. Otherwise, OBABO is going to be able to go with Han into Sierra, into a whole bunch of stuff. So I think VIILIPYTTY does have to take that Sierra, recognizes that, and that's exactly what he takes.
Going to see an Okeanos Savannah coming out from OBABO in response to seeing that Sierra getting first picked by VIILIPYTTY.
And I think OBABO, we see him on the ladder with this type of style a lot. Kind of goes for pseudo turn 1 into 2 play. So Han and Beta are definitely in his back pocket where Beta can give immunity. If not, he'll have a strong opening with Savannah and Okeanos into a Han to blow you up. So VIILIPYTTY does need to play around that because that's kind of what OBABO's draft is shaping up to look like. And then so we see that Velodril, which kind of looks like that, but also if that Okeanos gets banned out, there may not be an answer from OBABO's side to deal with that Velodril.
Yep, Han and Velodril for VIILIPYTTY. OBABO hovering over that Han. Does he confirm the Beta as well? We've seen it in America's Cup when J-Mac was drafting himself, and he brings the Bearing.
Bearing is an interesting pick here. Obviously, third skill with the ability to strip and then silence. So that might be, it's very similar to a Chiwu here. That Beta is also an interesting pick because it's a confirmation of, it's a denial of that Bearing. And it's also confirmation that he is banning out the Bearing and then takes a light Taeor, takes the Shan there. Well, it's not a unit we see very often here.
Definitely not a unit we see often. I think it's fantastic that we're seeing it in an SWC now.
And I think actually if OBABO takes a second stripper, like some second AoE stripper, he probably instantly wins the draft because VIILIPYTTY's units tend to be anywhere from the 270 to the 300 range. If you take out Sierra, you get outsped there. So I think OBABO should lean towards some sort of a Triton play here, but a Barber is also pretty acceptable. He's likely going to pop a unit out off the bat. Is his plan of attack. Bearing has to be the ban. Sierra has to be the ban. So OBABO is going to be able to open up with 3 units here. I think that Barber is going to outspeed VIILIPYTTY's team if it's on Swift, and he needs to take something out of VIILIPYTTY's.
Yep, speed lead for OBABO, but just for that Han alone. Here we go, guys. We're going to be going into round 2 with OBABO and VIILIPYTTY. If VIILIPYTTY takes this match, not only is he going to be moving forward, but everybody's going to be building Shan after this who has it. Here we go, guys. Beta with first turn for VIILIPYTTY.
Yeah, that is a very fast Beta. Should be on Swift here. Beta does have very high base speed, but again, that outsped Okeanos, so should be on Swift. But again, most of the things were on Will anyways. Does not boost his team up very much, so kind of unfortunate there. That Shan still might be going down with this Han moving next.
Sean was able to get reset here. Han looking to finish off the Sean. Can he finish off the Sean using the Han? It's not dead yet. You can see the full attack bar sitting on top of that Han. Savannah possibly looking to capitalize off of it.
Wow, no defense break coming out from that Han, so that's absolutely massive. Otherwise, he would have been able to down the Sean next. And this Ethna moving next might be able to actually deny the Han a turn here. And if that's the case, then that's massive.
Ooh, you can see the Shatter comes out with the additional turn as well, with the defense break sitting on top of Han. And we see that third skill not dropping the Han yet.
Wow, that is unfortunate. That Han goes down. There's no way OBABO can come back from this. VIILIPYTTY does have immunity up on his entire side. There's no way Okeanos does anything into that. And he also has the support of a Beta that can revive a unit. So way too much protection. Very unlucky for OBABO not getting those defense breaks. Would not have mattered because he got cut anyways. But I mean, that Sean just being able to survive that, Barbara not quitting off the bat just kind of costing him the game there.
Exactly. You see he's going for the Rain of Stones just for damage at this point, trying to drop this Sean, not receiving the kill yet. Sean still holding on. Savannah should be able to drop it though.
Yeah, Savannah might be able to drop it. It's not over. That's a violent Okeanos, so that might be able to give OBABO the chance to come back in the match here. We'll have to see how this pans out. There's a lot of damage on OBABO's side of the field.
Yep, there definitely is, but there is still a revive with this Beta. I'm not sure if it'll be enough to bounce back if he does need it. We're going to find out. Ethna with the second skill. I do believe it was built on Despair.
Yeah, definitely. That's how Ethnas are mostly built, on Despair here, and that's a lot of damage coming out. Defense breaks on 2 units here. And Okeanos' third skill still needs 2 more turns, so OBABO needs a few procs on this Okeanos if he wants a chance.
Does land that reset onto the Beta. We're not going to be seeing that Sean coming back here. Does Vela have enough to drop the Bobber, or is he going to go after the Savannah trying to get it off the Beast? And Savannah's not off that Beast just yet.
Yeah, definitely needs to dismount that Savannah because Savannah's skill 3 would be too big of a turn of events here. But this Ethna does have a choice to make, decides and wants to skill to Savannah here and take out that Barber later. So conservative and smart play by VIILIPYTTY.
And there's the additional turn once again coming out of the Ethna. Ethna with the Despair stuns on the Savannah. Savannah's going to be dropped here, looking so good for VIILIPYTTY.
Wow, and OBABO being taken out here. I mean, VIILIPYTTY just has too much on his side of the field here. That Ethna, violent proc there, doing a ton of damage. Violent Ethna. And OBABO is going to be in some trouble. But again, this Okeanos does a lot of damage with those artifacts here. And if it procs enough, may still have a chance.
It might. We're going to find out. Going for the reset, trying to keep down the sustain on top of VIILIPYTTY's side of the field. A lot of poke damage coming towards this Beta. Beta with the return damage. We have that third skill. He's going to be pushing up, getting in front of OBABO. You can see he's going to continue focusing down this unit.
Yeah, continues focusing it down, and again, that Bellajoy just has too much health. But again, OBABO's Okeanos has just procced another time. He needs to survive one more hit here, but does not get that strip, so highly unfortunate.
Does not get that strip. Big punishments coming out here, and is this going to be enough? You may even just go for a revive at this point.
Yeah, and I think at this point, he actually should have healed up that Bellajoy. Chose not to do so and might lose the game because of that.
Oh, down to the wire. VIILIPYTTY's going to get the 2-0 on OBABO. Wow.
What a match there. That's incredible. Just that speed tuning came out in such a way where the Sean was not able to die. That Ethna kind of cut OBABO's team there. And at the same time, at the end there, OBABO's Okeanos just needed just a hair more damage in order to come back. Really almost had it at any given point. But unfortunately for OBABO, was unable to get it. VIILIPYTTY balancing the speeds of that draft and understanding when to get immunity and what unit outspeeds what secondary unit allowed him to take that.
Wow, that was amazing. That was probably, other than maybe, what was our JMAC match that we had, JMAC and Baller? Was that the match that we had, like, back in the America's Cup? That has to be one of my favorite matches that we've had so far in all of SWC 2020. As we take a look at the bracket here, all of you at home that had predictions, probably busted brackets right now because VIILIPYTTY with the biggest upset of the tournament so far, 2-0, not even a 2-1, 2-0 over OBABO. Even our America's Cup champ, J-Mac, said, oh no, my bracket, it's been busted, with VIILIPYTTY, a huge, huge upset, and now stepping forward in the semifinals, 1 win away from booking his ticket to the World Finals as one of the 2 Europe representatives. And, you know, just taking a look back at that match there, you know it's bad when Okeanos is using skill 3 for damage, not for any of the stuns, for damage. So that was crazy to watch here. And now VIILIPYTTY one step closer to the World Finals, and he'll have to do that against our final quarterfinalist here, the winner between ZERPOLITA, the young man from Spain, against ISMOO from Germany. Man, this is going to be quite the exciting matchup here if it's anything like the last couple of things. There we go, ISMOO's internet's back going, and now he's got a virtual eyes here, but we'll have their player profiles in just a second. ZERPOLITA, fan favorite, has been growing, the only Spaniard in the tournament here. As we take a deeper look at him.
Prepare for SWC, I have a big folder with each player and a lot of information, pictures and stats in order to win the games. I think I have more weapons this year to compete in SWC, and I hope I can get my best to win.
Yes, indeed, and ZERPOLITA is currently Conqueror 2, but that is the G3's Josephine if I've ever seen one landing.
I think ISMOO is a very good player because he has very good runes and a good pool of monsters, and he can play a lot of different play styles. So it's not easy to be prepared.
On the side of ZERPOLITA is just too much, with some crits and some extra salt into the wounds by Tyrannus.
Yeah. What I want to say is ISMOO a good player, but I'm not especially scared about him because I think all the players are even.
I like that. Here we go. Back to a confident, not smack-talking European player, ZERPOLITA 2-0 against Sapen, and then 2-1 over SEIISHIZO, who we saw earlier in the tournament. His style is unique, and you better come prepared for it, is the quote that is written for him. Stoic, what else do we got on ZERPOLITA?
We know ZERPOLITA as a turn 2 player, said to draft a little bit kind of like CHENE, or maybe even a little bit like Dreams Joseph, so excited to see ZERPOLITA and what he's going to be bringing, because obviously this has been a very exciting SWC where we're getting things nobody's predicting at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Make it a bud. Quick thoughts on ZERPOLITA.
Art of Ragdoll.
Wait, Stoic, what are those two units again called?
2 subpar units called Adarag.
Ada Ragdoll are the 2 units here. So get used to hearing that one, fans, because we're probably going to see a healthy dose of it. Is ZERPOLITA going to be using that against ISMOO? And he said not too worried about ISMOO because he feels like all the levels of the players are the same, and a nice confidence here for ZERPOLITA as we take a closer look at ISMOO. The representative who built his way through
monster is Sarah. I like bombing other monsters, and if she procs and lands the bombs, he can turn the game around. Right now, I didn't prepare. I will follow and watch the old games of my opponent and try to figure out how to beat him.
I love ISMOO's play. He's attacking a little bit on both. Oh my god, this Tessarion is crazy.
I'm a bit nervous because I know ZERPOLITA is a very strong player. He already qualified last year and 2018 as well, and his box is pretty strong. So I have to get a good strategy to beat him.
That's a huge proc on the Triana and another one on the Barbara. ISMOO is like, I want this game right now. Sending the defense break back to Sierra. Will we see a proc from Sierra? No, she really had to proc there, and I think Pinkroyd was hoping that the Triana passive was not up, but it is.
I wish you a lot of luck and have fun on the next game. I hope we get a good fight and I win.
Oh, look at these guys. These are good opponents here, respectful to each other. As you see ISMOO's journey to the round of 8 here in the Europe Cup. 2-0 against Zujic, 0-2 against OBABO, and 2-0 over Pinkroyd. You saw the Tessarion in the box, the Barbara in the box as well. What do we know about ISMOO here, Stoic?
I do believe ISMOO is coming in as the dark horse. He's a player that really does stay under the radar compared to most players. So I'm really not too sure what we're going to be seeing from him today. I mean, we could see he did prepare that Tessarion before. Interesting to see how his draft's going to be going as he goes through today's tournament.
Look, I know ISMOO has got a fantastic facial hair. He's got the beard. He's got the mustache. It connects all the way through, almost like Stoics here. But look at that forearm fist. The hair's growing all the way up to the knuckles there. I don't know if that's the same thing here for ISMOO, man. But the 28-year-old social worker here from Germany trying to etch his name into the Europe Cup. And again, of course, the Europe Cup is brought to you by Google Play. Find new games and new arenas only on Google Play. Our final quarterfinals match underway. ISMOO and ZERPOLITA. Stoic can make it a bud. Take it away.
Here we go. ISMOO and ZERPOLITA going into the first match. Between the two of them, pre-bans are going to be coming out here. We can see Ada's getting pre-banned and the Daphnis getting pre-banned as well.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, you see the Ada being pre-banned here, even though Ada is not typically a meta unit at the moment. Then, of course, ZERPOLITA taking out the Daphnis because he's going with the turn 2 type style comp. But taking out that Sierra, of course, you see the Europeans favoring Sierra a lot. Sierra, very strong unit here. So I like that line of thinking. And it also disrupts ISMOO's ability and options when he wants to go for turn 1.
I don't know why you guys keep saying that name so funny, but here we go. We've got Ragdoll getting pre-banned, not pre-banned, I'm sorry, Ragdoll being drafted with a Josephine, and of course, Fran Okeano starting off ISMOO's draft. 2 other units looking to respond after seeing a Ragdoll Josephine.
Yeah, I mean, drops down that Ragdoll, and of course, I mean, we just got to go with the latest and greatest pronunciations. So, of course, we learn from the best here. So, ISMOO, of course, seeing that ZERPOLITA is lacking a lot of immunity, brings out Barbara and the Ethna here. So, like his style of draft, but this is very heavily dependent on banning Ragdoll here. So, ISMOO does need to play around whatever's coming out here. And Amelia is a very, very good unit into ISMOO.
Double unicorn with ZERPOLITA, the Diana and Amelia after seeing the Barbara and the Ethna.
Yeah, so actually ZERPOLITA's draft's a little weak to AoE control. If ISMOO brought in a really tanky Dover, he would do quite well. And Tars is an interesting pick here. I'm not very sure about it in this meta. I mean, Josephine beats it. Sierra does okay into it. This signals that ISMOO is letting that Diana go, obviously. And I think that you probably have to ban out Amelia here and just deal with the Ragdoll.
Well, let's see what the bans are going to be looking like as Antares does wrap up ISMOO's draft. Obviously going to be a very strong unit with this Diana being left on the field. Curious what the bans are going to be coming out here.
Yeah, curious to see, and also curious to see what ISMOO decides to take out. So Antares being taken out, interesting pick that ZERPOLITA does not want to deal with the Antares. There's actually not a ton of damage coming out from ISMOO's side if immunity is able to go off, so that could be in favor of ZERPOLITA in this matchup here.
Yep, definitely. I mean, Antares can be an absolutely devastating unit if it gets enough turns here. I'm happy to see it banned, and we're getting into the first match between ZERPOLITA and ISMOO. Here we go. We've got first turn with ISMOO with a very quick Okeanos and a 0-willed up ZERPOLITA.
I was about to say a zero-willed team does not believe in will runes, but clearly believes in resist as Amelia does not get stunned up, and of course believes in violent runes as well as Diana procs as well.
Here we go, getting that additional turn. We're going to see that second skill cycling attack bar, dealing a good amount of damage on top of that Fran. And we have Amelia going to be transforming, getting the cleanse here, and defense buffing up his team.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that Diana transform there because that Diana is going to get cut by Anetha. But of course, with Ragdoll, Diana will move in front of the second unit here. So I'm not exactly sure, but huge and lucky freeze onto that Ethna.
Huge freeze onto that Ethna, saving his Diana from receiving double damage from an Ethna and a Barbara. Barbara trying to pummel in some damage here, and it is built on revenge as well.
Yeah, clearly, as you saw in the opening turns, he's not a believer in will runes, does not need them when he can resist everything. So that Diana is able to revenge there, and right now it's just this Diana is going to do a lot of damage over time here. ZERPOLITA's in a really good spot.
Yeah, most definitely. ISMOO going for the reset to stop that Diana from doing this amount of damage it has been doing. Stun does sit on top of that Fran. Josephine looking to stun up another unit going after this Ethna.
And actually, ISMOO does have a lot of damage on his side of the field here. Diana is quite squishy, taking a lot more damage than one would normally take. So his window of opportunity is to take out this Diana here. But, you know, we'll see if this Barbara is able to get crits on.
Ooh, Barbara not able to get the strip on that shield, though. We can see the damage with Ragdoll going right after that Fran. No turn, no additional turn coming out of Fran as well.
Yeah, and again, this defense break that could be coming out soon is just so much tankiness coming out from the side of ZERPOLITA. This Fran is going to be going down because Josephine and Diana are going to move in front of it. So that's going to be going down. ISMOO's going to be left with no heals on his side of the field. And then once that's over, ZERPOLITA's going to be just picking units off one by one.
Going for the provoke to keep that Bobber controlled here. Stuns the freeze still sitting on top of Fran. We're going to get a nice second skill possibly coming out from this Ethna. Goes for Shatter. Deals not as much damage as we thought.
Yeah, I would have liked him to see him do more damage onto that Fran here, but it doesn't matter that Diana does get that proc. You've seen it proc over and over again. It's going to do a lot of damage. Could even chip away at something else first and then move on to the Fran.
Yeah, definitely not what ISMOO wanted to see there when he saw that proc coming out of Diana. You can see the damage going right back onto that Ethna, choosing not even a skill 2, looking for that RNG freeze on top of the Okeanos, not receiving it. Ragdoll is going to be finishing off that Fran there. Ethna taking advantage of this Diana. Diana still holding on.
Yeah, that's actually a Nemesis Ethna, so that pushed up in front of Diana there, and if skills were up or it was able to proc, it would be able to take out that Diana, but unfortunately didn't either. And this Diana is just so actually able to survive by the skin of its teeth.
By the skin of its teeth for sure, receiving with a revenge stun on top of that Okeanos as well. Josephine landing that stun on top of Barbara, everything looking so good for ZERPOLITA.
Yeah, everything looking great for ZERPOLITA here. I mean, that Diana is going to go down, but he does have Ragdoll and Josephine that's going to be able to sweep up this Ethna. It's still not over. If Barbara's able to do enough damage, ISMOO may be able to come back.
Yeah, ISMOO's going to need some RNG, a little bit of violent procs to get back into this one here. Josephine possibly looking to finish off this Ethna and does land that stun as well.
Big miss on that crit there because that means he's going to need an extra hit to go onto that Ethna. So every hit matters here. It's still not over. That Barbara can do a lot of damage.
Yep, was looking for a freeze onto the Barbara, not receiving it there. Possible reset is coming out onto the Josephine. Does not land the reset onto the Josephine.
Does not, but that's a giant proc that's going to take out Josephine with that defense break from skill 2. So this is still anyone's game here. That Ragdoll, ISMOO is looking for an opportunity to snipe this Ragdoll out.
Yeah, ISMOO getting a little bit of RNG. Finally, it's a 2-2 right now. Barbara procking right out of that freeze. Looking to focus down this Ragdoll. Ragdoll taking a ton of damage there. Possibly looking for a stun, but I do believe the Amelia does have skill 2.
I would have preferred him go on the Amelia there because Amelia is very squishy in human form. Unfortunately, does not. This Ragdoll is almost dead, but I don't think ISMOO has another form of burst. Is going to be in an awkward position.
Definitely has to be careful. That is almost in torrent range. Barbara might be able to supply enough damage to finish off that Ragdoll. Ragdoll holding on to that torrent, dropping the Barbara right off the mount.
Yeah, but one hit onto this Ragdoll here is going to push Amelia in front of Barbara, so if he's able to stun that Barbara, it could be a big play for ZERPOLITA.
That could be a big play. Choosing to go for the freeze. Lands that freeze. No additional turn coming out of Barbara. Is this going to be enough to finish it off? And it is just a lonely Okeanos.
Very lonely Okeanos, and that's not going to be enough for ISMOO to take it over.
Definitely not going to be enough. ZERPOLITA taking round 1 against ISMOO.
Wow, so that one went back and forth, but it came down to ZERPOLITA's Amelia resisting off the bat. Actually, if it was on Will, it would have the same effect. But again, it resisted off the bat. He was able to get into human form, and then ISMOO didn't have enough burst to take out a unit of ZERPOLITA's. That Diana just lasted a little too long.
In that match, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So it came down to that little bit of damage there, and ultimately ZERPOLITA was able to survive his opponent. You saw him shape-shifting a lot just to get heals onto his units. He needed some sort of sustain. Every little bit mattered there, and that Diana was able to.
Well, we should be going into round 2 shortly with ZERPOLITA and ISMOO. Curious if we're going to see more non-willed up units coming from ZERPOLITA.
Yeah, I know. The whole team not being on Will Runes is something that a good player will take advantage of. So Ganymede becomes extra strong there, as well as Okeanos and any AoE unit. So ZERPOLITA does hinge a lot on that Amelia, but once those two have matched up, they already know the speeds of each other's drafts at that point. So ISMOO should be taking notes on what got outsped, what did he outspeed, and to know exactly how to outspeed that Amelia or ban it next time and be in a good spot.
Well, here we go, going into round 2 with ISMOO and ZERPOLITA. You can see the pre-bans from last time, Daphnis getting pre-banned and Ada getting pre-banned.
Yeah, Ada was pre-banned last time, but we're going to see the Ragdoll pre-ban this time. Of course, when your opponent has part of Rag, you're going to alternate your bans on those 2 units. ISMOO, of course, being denied that Sierra first pick here, so we'll see what he decides to go with, but ZERPOLITA is likely going to build that draft around his arsenal.
ISMOO with the first pick. He's going to be taking that Fran away from ZERPOLITA. ZERPOLITA looking to respond after seeing a Fran first picked.
Yeah, Fran first pick is a signal for later turn play here. We'll see what ZERPOLITA goes with. Goes for the Molly off the bat, so we're likely going to see a Tsarian coming out from ISMOO. So this is a signal that ZERPOLITA definitely wants to play the long game. He is weak to Sierra, but that's exactly why he pre-banned that Sierra.
Yep, Maliata for ZERPOLITA. I do believe we're going to be seeing that Tsarian. I'm curious if ZERPOLITA knows the Tsarian's coming through, because ISMOO was drafting it before in the prelims.
I mean, everyone in the G3 level does have a Tsarian in his box here. So going with that, Vigor's a very good play into Molly here. Vigor with that speed buff, able to do a lot, and then defense break. And of course, Ethna is always great when your opponent does not have immunity on this side of the field.
Yep, double defense break coming out of ISMOO, definitely going to help him keeping that damage down from Ada and possibly getting that defense break onto the Molly to help capitalize off some massive damage, because we know the sustain with Molly can get a little bit out of control.
Wow, so ZERPOLITA actually laying down the Icarus here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Mo Long last pick here. And he's going to go for a snipe on a unit. He's going to need enough burst because likely either Icarus or Mo Long are going to be banned. So he's going to need enough follow-up to take over the game here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Fran ban here or Vigor. He's going to need to take out one piece of healing from ISMOO's side and then be able to burst down the other unit.
Okeanos Babra wrapping up ISMOO's draft here. Let's see if ZERPOLITA does draft that Mo Long. It would work very well with his comp.
Actually, instead decides to go for the Josephine. So I'm not sure about his draft here. It's not very cohesive. And it doesn't really have enough burst to take out a unit after that Icarus takes out about maybe 60% of a unit's health here. So not exactly a fan of ZERPOLITA's draft, but again, if ISMOO doesn't have enough burst, say if that Barbara's gone and he's not able to do enough with that Ethna, ISMOO may not have enough to take out a unit either. But again, it's a lot of heals coming out from ISMOO's side.
Well, we've got 4 new units coming out of ZERPOLITA. We're going to see Will on anybody going into this round 2 with ZERPOLITA and ISMOO. Bans are coming out. Molly and Fran getting banned out.
Yeah, and ISMOO's looking to just control his opponent. I mean, he's got speed buff, he's got a lot of defense break, and there's no immunity on the side of ZERPOLITA.
Well, accuracy lead for both players, guys. Here we go. We're getting into round 2 with ZERPOLITA and ISMOO. So who's going to be taking first turn? I want to say that Okeanos. Here we go. Okeanos is going to be taking first turn, possibly looking for a reset on top of that Icarus. No, going for the Tyrannies.
Wow, and a big miss onto that Tyrannies. Actually, Tyrannies taking quite a bit of damage there, so that Okeanos does do a lot. But again, I mean, there's just not enough immunity on the side of ZERPOLITA, but that Icarus is going to be able to go off at some point here. So look to see when ZERPOLITA decides to lay in a lot of damage.
Jada comes out, gets that defense break on top of the Ada. Defense break sitting on top of the Josephine as well, but a Despair Stun is coming out for Babra and the Ethna.
Yeah, and actually that was a very tanky Josephine. If you notice, it didn't take very much damage. I think ISMOO's gonna need his anti-crit, but at the same time is deciding whether or not to use it because there is an Icarus on the other side of the field that is not using skills.
Vigor taking advantage of the defense break on top of the Josephine, getting a 3-turn defense break as well. Possible Provoke's gonna be coming out onto the Okeanos. Does confirm that Provoke as well.
That's an absolutely massive Despair Stun going out on the side of Vigor because Vigor's not going to be able to heal up its team and give speed buff. That's a lot of damage coming out from Icarus.
A lot of damage coming out of Icarus, and Tyrannies with a wild blow dropping that Okeanos.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at a trade here. I think this Josephine's going to be going down from this Ethna. Ethna's going to do a lot of damage onto it. But again, ISMOO is down a unit, but does have speed buff. It's going to need to take tempo here.
Yep, really is. Does not drop that Josephine here. Josephine does stand up. Guy has that shield up as well.
Yeah, it does have shield up, but Barbara, huge proc, and it's going to be able to strip that Josephine and do a lot of damage.
Definitely strips that Josephine. I'm not too sure ISMOO's going to have the damage to take advantage of ZERPOLITA here. You can see that big heal coming out, healing up that Josephine, of course, with the additional turns.
Yeah, and I think ZERPOLITA is in a really good spot here. He's up 4 units of 3. That Ethna is going to need to stun everything, but unfortunately does not stun very much. That Tyrannies does have Revive left, and Icarus does have skill 2 to be able to heal the team soon.
Went for the soul protection on top of that Josephine. Wild blow coming back to that Ethna. Ethna's still going to be alive here. Possibly looking to drop that Josephine and then come back to it later, but no, does go for the Icarus.
Yeah, it does have soul protection up on that Josephine, so Josephine won't be taken out for a while. That Vigor does not have heals left, and that Icarus does have heals up again with skill 2, so ZERPOLITA might be able to hang on here with just enough heals.
Just might be. Ethna with that third skill could be dropping. No, chooses to go for that second skill, getting Despair Stuns onto the Josephine and the Ada.
Yeah, so absolutely massive stun on the Arda because Arda would have come back and destroyed the Ethna, but unfortunately for ZERPOLITA, the Ethna is still alive here and is able to use capture and potentially take out this Josephine.
Potentially, but the Josephine is going to be holding on here. It is going to be stunned up, but the Tyranny is going to be responding with a stun himself onto that Ethna. Wild Blow comes in there, smashing that Ethna, removing it from the field.
Very good calculation of how much damage the opponent takes out the Ethna wisely instead of dismounting the Barber here. And again, ZERPOLITA is up 4 units of 3. He is going to lose a unit right now, but that Barber is almost being dismounted.
Yep, that's right. Does get that defense break finally. Drops that Josephine. Ada comes in with that very oppressive Despair stun on top of Barbara.
Yeah, so many timely Despair stuns coming out from Arda. At the same time, Icarus does have skill 3 next, so it's going to be able to take out a unit. And ZERPOLITA looks to be playing well and moving on to the next round.
Most definitely. You can see the Despair stuns are coming out all over the place. Barbara, Vigo, right back to Barbara once again. Ada just being very oppressive in this round, looking so good for ZERPOLITA.
Yeah, and ZERPOLITA actually going for the safe play there, just taking out the Barber. Does not even need to use the nuke on the Vigor. Knows that this is his win condition. I mean, ZERPOLITA has this ISMOO smile. He knows that he kind of got unlucky there with a few of the Arda stuns on his team. So ZERPOLITA, I mean, looking very strong here. Arda Rag still very much in this game.
Still very much in this game for sure. Vigor still trying to hold on here, even though there's the sustain, there's the revive. ZERPOLITA's got everything on that team.
Yeah, and ISMOO again enjoying every last minute of SWC, even if he's losing here, smiling as his Vigor is being taken out.
Vigor's gonna be dropping right here to the Icarus, and there you have it, another round 2. 2-0. ZERPOLITA is gonna be moving forward. Nothing but 2-0s at the whole start of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of very, very solid drafts. Of course, obviously with OBABOs, there's a lot of RNG involved, but for the most part, these are very solid drafts. And 2-0s across the board, lots of aggression, quick matches. And in this situation, I mean, just a lot of back and forth. I mean, just overall, very, very creative and solid drafts by all these players.
Yeah, definitely so. Icarus and Tyrannies allows the victory here for ZERPOLITA in that last game, as well as, you know, Despair stun is supposed to have like a lower percentage, but it felt like every revenge, every auto attack that Ada was putting down was a stun. And I think ISMOO just knew, like, there's nothing I could do about this except just smile and be like, yeah, the gods have spoken and they speak Spanish a little bit better than me. Vamos, ZERPOLITA, as he's able to qualify on into the semifinals. He'll be playing VIILIPYTTY, the Finnish wrestling coach here, to decide who will be moving on to the World Finals. That concludes all of our quarterfinals and all of our best of threes. Guys, what did you think about our quarterfinals that we had?
I mean, just a lot of upsets. I mean, my bracket is totally busted. I had SEIISHIZO and OBABO moving on to Worlds, and neither are making it. So, I mean, but just a lot of just solid drafting overall, just understanding the balance between aggression, turn 2, turn orders. I mean, just really high level and high quality play coming out today.
Yeah, definitely. And so if you want to level up your play, we got a code for you right here. 2020 Tournoi WC. That means, for all of you that parlez-vous français, that means tournament 2020 Tournoi WC for 300,000 mana stones and 1 water attribute scroll, that is. So make sure to plug that one in. Guys, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we have the semifinals to see who will be joining everybody in the World Finals. See you in a bit.
This Josephine is massive for ZERPOLITA the whole day. She's the carry of the match already, couple of turns in, but takes a huge amount of damage from the...
Already gonna be the turn of Shiho, where he's gonna be able to get this Josephine off the board, and there's an additional proc going for the Amelia now. This looks very, very nice for
that's
SEIISHIZO.
a crazy amount of damage. Ollie, S2 is coming up shortly. If she gets one more proc, she'll be able to cleanse. The Tessarion is still going in for the Vanessa, even though there's a bomb on her. Oh my god.
Being able to hold hands with the Artemil, that's a lot of heal.
And he chooses to go for the debate. Once again, a huge proc. That's going to be a dead debate, I'm pretty sure. See this Diana able to take down the Terranus. Judging from the first turn damage, I would say so. Yeah, the Terranus goes down, and he is in the Druid form right now. Sorry, the Beast form right now, and a proc from Diana here can be detrimental.
Just one proc. Is this a proc? No, it's not a proc. You're gonna reset because this Veladjul is still having the immunity up. And,
I love this play coming in from OBABO, resetting the Diana, letting her cycle once again. And if we see a huge proc from Diana, oh my god, will this...
Yeah, this is OBABO, known for his very aggressive playstyle, giving the attack bar, the skills up again for the Diana. There is right here the Antares, there is Josephine, and there's Amelia. So there's even more protection. Look at these blue markers of immunity, not having that much impact. There is slow, there is stunts on the side of ZERPOLITA. Wow, the Ganymede is already done. That is some very fast runes on the side of ZERPOLITA. With the Josephine and the Juno and also the Sierra being faster than the monsters of Zapin.
That defense break is crucial. It's gonna significantly lower the damage output coming in from this Bulldozer, but he almost kills the Vanessa. Almost.
Good turn, and Olivia has second skill up, so he can do second skill on Bulldozer. Bulldozer can stun the Daphnis.
Or just delete him.
And actually kill it. Wow.
Since my birth, I've had to beat the world. I never lose, no, I don't hate you. I'm designed to get you. Everybody is my enemy. Till the time you see me in a crowd. Don't know how to pity you, get out of my way. Every pain I've been through makes me stronger. Too many days I've been waiting, I've been training. Victory, keep on all your eyes on me. Now I feel it's not far away. Sword in my hand tells me I'm the one. Don't know how to pity you, get out of my way. Every pain I've been through makes me stronger. Too many days I've been waiting, I've been training. I'll feel the time come. I'm not afraid, 'cause war is into history. You're never gonna see me destroyed. Cause always war is my fate. Now I'm walking into history. You're never gonna see me destroyed. Cause always war is my fate. Break the barrier, it's my area. Need no savior, I'm the rule maker. No matter if it's criminal in this area, I'm the rule maker. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. I'm the rule maker. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. I'm the rule maker.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the SWC 2020 Europe Cup. I'm Daniel Digon Gonzalez, and we are here now at the halfway point. We started off with 8 players, and now we're down to 4. I'm here with Stoic and Make It a Bud. You guys were saying earlier, some complex play here. We've seen a meta looking a little bit different than anything else that we've seen so far, right? Make It a Bud?
I mean, we just see a lot of aggression and also just the ability to balance speeds very well. It's just overall very solid play coming out from the EU side of the world. And also just a lot of upsets, a lot of RNG. Daphnis is missing skill 3, Ethna's proccing, lots of procs. So it's been a really fun cup so far.
Yeah, it's definitely been fun. How do you think it differs compared to some of the other regions that we've seen so far, Stoic?
I mean, I think the this region's the same as all the other ones. If you're looking at this point, I mean, we're calling it upsets. Look at the upsets in Americas. Look at the upset in Asia. This is going the exact same way, so it's as expected at this point.
Well, definitely upsets abound. Now, 2 more players will etch their name to the World Finals. It's going to be such a very exciting time as we take a look at our 4 competitors still remaining in the tournament, starting with ROSITH, one of our few returning members from Worlds last year, up against CHENE in the first semifinals. An all-French affair on the top hand. With VIILIPYTTY and ZERPOLITA, they'll be battling for that final spot on the bottom side of the bracket. One of the big differences here is we're going from a best of 3 to a best of 5, and the winner will receive that SWC 2020 medal. Look at it. Look at that stand. Stoic, I know that you had strong feelings about these medals.
Yeah, that I can never own one.
You could. I believe in you, man. I believe in you. If you're giving us all this expertise here, I'm sure if you put your mind to it, you might be able to be here at SWC 2020 or 2020.
Yelling into my phone doesn't help.
I do appreciate you being here though now. All right, so now time for us to get down to business. The all-French affair, Les Bleus, about to battle out for the first spot in the semifinals into the World Finals here between CHENE and ROSITH. As we take a look at our semifinals here, CHENE took care of business in that first matchup here. As we take a look at his player card, what did we see in that first couple of matches there? Make it a bud.
I mean, we just saw a very, very good response to potentially turn 1 play, just understanding how to add aggression and actually not over-reliance on Arda Ragdoll. I mean, just the very good usage of standard units, Sierras, and things like that, obviously into a draft that sometimes did not bring enough aggression, identifying the key unit to ban out and play around and build his draft around.
You can see it right there. Kept the cup, won the game, go CHENE. All the fan art is always great. I love it, I love it, I love it. And I'm interested because this one can't just be, the representative of France, because his opponent is ROSITH, who also is from France and has had that experience. And he used that in his match against X-Knight X96, didn't he, Stoic?
He most definitely did. It's great to see another representative from France definitely going to Worlds, whether it's going to be CHENE or it's going to be ROSITH.
Yeah, so ROSITH, again, has made himself a name here as also an experienced player. It's funny that we said CHENE, the experienced one, the veteran. Well, ROSITH's the one that went to Worlds last year, won it all last year, as you see him with the thumbs up, and we take a look at his player card and his journey so far through the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, both players, very strong players obviously here, but ROSITH has a very wide box. They share Ragdoll, so it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic between the two of them. But again, ROSITH has a lot more LDs in the back pocket. And as we saw in his matchup, really understands when to go for turn 1 and when not to. And then when you pair that with LD units, makes him a very scary opponent.
Yeah, definitely. So we see y'all in the chat, though. Bear, thanks for hanging out with us. Lamix, congratulations on your pull there, probably using the code that we had up earlier. If you missed it, Evan's got you covered in the chat. And of course, this tournament and all the matches brought to you by Google Play as we take a look at the highlights from the first quarterfinal matchups. And we can break down that action there with CHENE defeating SEIISHIZO in the first game.
Yeah, I mean, CHENE obviously in the first game was able to take advantage of a no damage draft here. And then in game 2, SEIISHIZO got unlucky Despair Stun. At the same time, may not have had enough damage to be able to burst through CHENE's team, who was riding a very fine line of needing just enough damage and unfortunately was not able to get it, so CHENE was able to take that down quite easily.
Yeah, in the second semifinal matchup, we saw the battle of the Squad Zeros, the Squid Squads. It was ROSITH and Knight. What happened in this one here, Stoic?
I mean, we watched 2 guildies going at it. I mean, this is great back and forth coming from ROSITH. Having a little bit better luck into his matches, getting the 2-0 on him. Just smart drafting by the 2 of them. Great play. Awesome back and forth.
Yeah, and the experience here. Championing out here for ROSITH as we wait for these players slowly to take their time and You could feel it here, right? This is the moment when you're kind of just hanging out, waiting for your turn to go and get yourself into the game, and you're like, all right, well, you know, sometimes maybe this is when you overthink it. It's like, hey, I've gotten to this point here in the semifinals. For both of these guys, they've done it multiple times here, getting close, being veterans, and now it's time for only one of them to make it on in. So again, this semifinals matchup and basically a qualifier to Worlds brought to you by Google Play. Check out your new arena and discover the latest and greatest games only on Google Play. And the only person that can tell us who is going on through is that beautiful voice, that perfect man. Yes, and of course, make it a bud. It is Stoic. Take it away, brother.
Here we go, guys. We've got ROSITH, we've got CHENE, both these two very experienced guys here in SWC. Pre-bans have gone out. Ciara getting pre-banned and Okeanos getting pre-banned by ROSITH.
Interesting pre-bans here. ROSITH should be dropping down the Ragdoll first here because that's very good against most of CHENE's units. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Ragdoll first pick. Surprised neither player pre-banned at first, knowing that that was likely going to be a key unit on both players' fields. So if Ragdoll's not taken, then we're going to see some sort of either a Hathor, but I guess EU has been taking a lot of Fran first. So we see the Fran first pick, which is a little interesting coming out from ROSITH.
Fran first pick. CHENE looking to get his first picks in here as well after seeing a Fran being drafted by ROSITH. Let's see if he's going to be taking the Ragdoll, or is he going to give it up for ROSITH for him to take with his Fran?
CHENE doesn't need to take the Ragdoll first pick because he also the Ragdoll's more of an anti-Arda pick here. So Daphnis is a very good pick into Fran, and ROSITH also does use Daphnis quite a bit. So this is a pretty good counter pick coming out from CHENE's side. He's a little weak to a well-ruined Barbara if ROSITH had one in his back pocket. And so ROSITH at this point is deciding to go to outspeed. I'm not sure about the Vanessa pick into a Vigor. He's going to need a lot of aggression if he's going to go with a Vanessa, or he's going to have to ban out that Vigor.
Nope, you see Vanessa Ragdoll being drafted by ROSITH here. CHENE looking to respond after seeing that Vanessa Ragdoll.
Yeah, and of course, Ragdoll's almost never a bad pick. It's such a powerful unit, one of the highest win rate units, so strong in any meta, any situation. So Ragdoll, a very obvious pick. And then CHENE going with the Vertihile, and we're likely going to see another piece of damage or some other way to support the team. And that's exactly what we see. Verd and Hathor together give him a lot of control with the ability to take so many turns over the course of the game.
I do like CHENE's draft so far. Vertihile and that Hathor is going to be picked by CHENE. ROSITH looking to respond and wrapping up his draft here after seeing Verd and Hathor.
I would like to see an Okeanos as some way to control the field, and Dark Monkey actually acts very much like an Okeanos, oftentimes, sometimes even better with the skill 2 defense break and then Savannah. So ROSITH taking advantage of the fact that CHENE has no immunity, and I think for now the tentative ban is going to be on that Vertihile, which is going to enable all these units to take turns over and over again. Or I wouldn't also be surprised to see a Hathor ban out. I think it's going to be one of the two units being banned out tentatively. And CHENE, actually, interestingly enough, going with a Leo, even though there's a Ragdoll on the field. So this tells me Savannah's being left in for sure, and we're likely going to see a Ragdoll ban. And he's also got a Vigor on his side of the field, which makes the Ragdoll the Leo less effective. So kind of an interesting and a weird pick here going on here. Takes out the Dark Monkey here. So we're going to see Verd, Leo together. Really also a weird ban on the Vigor, knowing that Vigor and Leo are pretty bad together. So kind of interesting bans from both players here. And I think ROSITH lacks a lot of damage here, but at the same time, if he is able to land a defense break and pop something with the Ragdoll, does have a chance to win.
Yep, most definitely, guys. That's going to finish off this draft here with CHENE and ROSITH. We're going to be going into the first round. Resistance lead for CHENE, and we have a speed lead coming out for ROSITH. Here we go. CHENE, ROSITH. Here we go. Let's see who's going to be taking first turn. We do have, of course, Leo taking first turn.
Yeah, we have Leo taking first turn, and then ROSITH's entire team's going to move. That Daphnis will need to do a lot of damage onto this Vanessa here in order for CHENE to have the upper hand.
Savannah looking to deal some damage here to the Daphnis. Daphnis took it very, very well.
Yeah, and actually, not getting that strip on the Daphnis is huge because otherwise ROSITH was able to defense break and then go into Ragdoll kills. So very unfortunate not to get that strip on the Daphnis. And this may actually be game here, or at least a unit down, because he's not going to be able to take out that Daphnis off the bat and will lose a unit.
Vanessa was able to get that defense break on top of the Hathor. Daphnis primed and ready, going after with a Hellfire on the Vanessa, gets the defense break, does not finish off that Vanessa. Vanessa still holds on.
Yeah, Vanessa still holds on here, but Vanessa's not going to hold on very much longer here. Leo and Vertihau are both moving in front of Vanessa, so Vanessa's going to go down, but we're going to see Savannah going to be able to apply defense breaks across the board, and we're going to see trades of units.
Yep, we're definitely going to be seeing a trade here, but we're going to see a third skill keeping down that Fran for even longer and even reducing the attack bar of that Vanessa as well, landing both sleeps there. Not getting any attack bar reduction on the Vanessa, but it's not going to matter here. Vertihau is going to be finishing off that Vanessa.
Yeah, Vertihau does finish off that Vanessa, and that Vert does counter, which is really lucky on Shen's side, so that is giant, because otherwise Ragdoll was going to be able to pummel in more damage, but that's so much damage coming on the Vert there.
So much damage indeed. Savannah did have that glancing. The defense break did land on top of the Vertihau as well. Not able to drop Savannah off the beast just yet. Fran is down, not able to get the additional turn there to possibly heal up. That's Savannah.
Yeah, but that Vert's going to be alive here because that Savannah was not able to take a turn. At the same time, that Ragdoll might not do it. Well, will do enough damage on the Vertihau here. So I stand corrected here. That Vertihau does go down here, and Shen is down to 2 units.
Yep, that's right, with the additional turn, getting rid of that shield on top of the Daphnis. Daphnis primed and ready with another Hellfire. Is he going to choose to go after the Ragdoll here? Is he going to try and take out the Fran?
Very tough to down a Ragdoll without a defense break here. Wisely goes for the Fran, but again, Shen's looking looks a little tough for Shen here. He's going to need to somehow have this Leo on Vampire, and it unfortunately is not.
Yep, definitely not on Vampire. There's a sustain coming out of Fran with the attack break as well. Leo's not going to be able to provide enough damage to do anything here. Obviously, the Savannah could drop it. The Savannah's going to be getting the additional turns as well. And there you have it. ROSITH taking round 1 in a best of 5.
Yeah, interesting match there. That based off of draft, it really felt like Shen had the upper hand there. Once Daphnis went off, something should have gone down. But I think ROSITH was just able to hang in there. Fran was able to hang in there, and ultimately ROSITH was able to take out Shen's team. Shen had no healing, and that was ultimately how we felt.
Yep, little lucky too. He had some violent procs. You see him kissing his violent proc charm he has there. So a little bit of RNG for the both of them too.
Yeah, and I also think Shen had a very squishy Vertihau there, understanding that it was on defense break and it, a Ragdoll with attack buff hit it, but that Vert almost got one shot with a skill 1 coming out from that Ragdoll. So I think a lot of it could come down to unit builds where if Shen's Vertihau was a lot tankier, it could have been alive for another turn or 2 and then given him more turns. I think it came down to statting for a lot of these things. But off draft, it really looked like Shen had a good position, especially given the fact that his Vigor was banned out with his Leo on the field. But ROSITH able to squeak on by. It is a best of 5, so they're going to be able to play with a variety of units. And of course, both players have a very large pool, so we're going to see very different drafts from both players.
Yep, most definitely. We're going into round 2 with ROSITH and Shen. You can see the pre-bans from last time. Ciara getting pre-banned and Okeanos getting pre-banned by ROSITH.
So in this situation here, Shen does have first pick, and it looks like both of them are going with the strat of deny your opponent the Ciara. Whoever gets first pick, whoever has the second pick is going to be pre-banning Ciara, ensuring that his opponent doesn't have it. That's how strong Ciara is perceived to be in this meta here. And actually, Okeanos also determined as one of the strong units. So Shen going with a very fast unit, even though he's typically an Art of Rag user.
Yep, curious to see if Shen's going to be taking first turn with that Okeanos. I wonder if he's going to be bringing a speed lead with it as well. ROSITH first picking a Fran and Viga.
Yeah, that Fran and Viga drop very strong into Okeanos here. And Shen, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Vanessa. I would not like to see it. I would like to see a Savannah or something like that. Hathor is also a great pick. And Juno kind of locks down this Fran, but is also a little weak to Viga.
Hathor Juno for Shen here. ROSITH looking to respond after seeing those 2 units.
Yeah, Shen does also lack a lot of direct damage, doesn't really have a defense break, doesn't have immunity. So I'm not exactly sure, honestly, about picking so many units that do the same thing. And I think ROSITH can take advantage of that and is doing so through a lot of direct damage. I would have preferred to see some sort of more sustain coming out from ROSITH's side, but I think this is also okay. I mean, Masha, Ragdoll, just such a strong combination together.
Very strong combination. I do like seeing the Ragdoll and the Mash, and I can't help but give it to ROSITH in this match already, but Shen's got to respond after seeing those two units. What can Shen bring to stop ROSITH?
Yeah, Shen's probably thinking through water units right now. It needs to do a lot of damage here. I'm not sure this is it, but he does have Gani, Hathor, Oki on the field. So, I mean, we're looking at Gani is likely going to be a smart ban here. Shen is positioning himself to ban out. Probably some sort of Ragdoll or a Fran here. And ROSITH laying down the Dark Monkey, again, exploiting the fact that Shen has no immunity.
Definitely. I mean, we've been seeing so much Dark Monkey King coming from ROSITH. I love seeing this unit being used more and more, especially in SWC, because not enough people use this unit.
Yeah, it's interesting to see ROSITH's pick of the Dark Monkey. I would prefer to see a Molly lay down with a ban on Gani, understanding that Shen does not have a ton of burst. Shen's weakness is no immunity, no burst. So if you're able to out-survive and you have sustain, you're going to win. So I would have preferred that. He instead goes for the bursty route with the Dark Monkey. So this Dark Monkey does need to be very, very tanky in order for ROSITH to do well. But either way, he does have 2 points of sustain on his team. So I do like his team over time. Shen needs to find a spot to take something out, but he also has that Gani Oki lockdown.
Yeah, well, Shen's going to be banning out that Masha. ROSITH splitting the Gani Hathor, banning out that Hathor, guys. We're going into round 2. Shen and ROSITH. Here we go. We have first turn being taken by a very quick Okeanos.
Yeah, we have first turn taken out by Okeanos. Needs to land on the strand, does not get it, and that's absolutely massive because one of Shen's ways to win is that Gani Hathor, the Gani Oki lockdown here, but may not get it here. There is a Juno that can strip the team. It does move in front of Gani, so that is also in favor of Shen.
Dark Monkey King with that second skill defense break on top of the Okeanos, getting an additional turn as well. Looking to pummel some serious damage in here. Vigor is going to be primed and ready to take advantage of it as well. See the stun defense break on top of the Juno, but Juno's going to be healing herself up. Vigor applying massive damage, dropping that Okeanos though.
Massive damage onto that Okeanos. It's going to go down, but at the same time, Tyrannese does have the ability to revive a team. Gani does have skill 3 reset, so Shen's going to be able to kind of come back here, and Dark Monkey did use all of its skills, so it's going to not do very much unless it stuns on skill 1 for a bit.
Reset going out onto Vigor, glancing being applied to that Dark Monkey King, and we may have that revive there, and we do. Tyrannese is going to be reviving up that Okeanos.
Yeah, Tyrannese does revive up that Okeanos, but Tyrannese does not provoke the Vigor, and that's pretty important because Vigor is going to have the ability to cycle cooldowns and may be able to give speed buff very soon.
Yeah, but you can see he's starting to focus down that Okeanos, especially with those additional turns as well. As quick as Okeanos got back, is as quick as Okeanos is going to get knocked down again, but he does survive here. Looking for a stun on everybody except the Fran, of course. Fran, though, can drop this Okeanos, and does so.
And does drop that Okeanos, and that's a massive proc from that Vigor because he's able to give speed buff, which allows his team to outpace Shen. Great ventilate onto the Juno. It's going to apply more dots on the ROSITH side, and recognizing that speed buff is a threat, takes those speed buffs out.
Ooh, with the Despair stuns as well on top of the Fran. We can see this third skill Shred coming back out and landing the defense break on top of the Juno. Ragdoll looking to take care of that defense break on Juno. Not finishing it off here. Is Dark Monkey King going to be enough?
I would have liked to see him go for it, and with that Fran moving next, might be able to use additional damage artifacts to take out that Juno, but it said goes for the conservative route and does not do so. At the same time here, I mean, Shen's firing a lot of damage, and ROSITH does have a little bit of catch-up to do here, as his units don't have skills up just yet.
Most definitely. Looking to cross his fingers, getting that Despair stun onto the Fran, not receiving it. He keeps going after this Juno, but the Juno keeps healing up.
That's a massive stun from that Juno onto that Fran. That Fran did have skill 3 up, but was unable to use it here. So that's a ton. That's a lot of RNG coming out, but I don't know if it's enough here. That's a huge proc coming out from Gani, though.
Huge proc. He's able to reset the Fran. Dumping attack bars on everybody. Wild Blow possibly coming out here to deal more damage.
That was one of the biggest procs of the game here, swinging the tide in favor of Shen. That was a lot of RNG. Fran doesn't have healing anymore, and Tyrannese is going to be able to revive a unit again really soon.
Ooh, Viga choosing to go for that second skill. Ragdoll's going to be there to finish off the Juno. It's not over yet. The Ventilate going back onto that Wind Druid. Wind Druid's going to have Revive up once again. Attack bar reduction on the Tyrannies, and we might see a third skill. The procs are coming. He chooses to finally go with that third skill, landing the defense break on top of the Gani.
Yeah, and Shen does need to revive up a unit right now. The Gani is 3-turn defense broken, so it's going to be taking a ton of damage here. Does proc, that proc is massive because it has third skill up next, and ROSITH doesn't have immunity at the moment.
So many procs come out for this Ganymede, but the procs for ROSITH as well. The Juno is back, and the Juno is put down once again, but we do have the third skill that is up, and he's going to put that on top of the Fran, getting the reset and full attack bar reduction on everybody. Wild Blows coming to this field right now, looking to deal some damage to the Vigor. Vigor did not take that well.
Yeah, went after the Vigor here, but again, that Vigor does have skills up. Unsure of why he did that. Might have gone on the Fran there. So instead, this Gani is going to take a lot of damage, and ROSITH still has 3 units up.
Shen bringing Juno back for a second time. There's the revive, has to cleanse up that provoke, sitting on top of that Vigor. Vigor looking for a skill 3 to put down the Juno once again. The additional turn going to be coming here, and no additional turn. Full strip, and we're going to see the Despair stuns coming out onto ROSITH's team. Does get the Despair stun on top of the Vigor. Ragdoll looking to finish off the Juno, does so.
Yeah, really, really lucky Juno. Revenge proc allowing the Juno to move in front of Ragdoll, but doesn't matter. ROSITH's able to take out that Juno, and again, we're coming down to the point where ROSITH needs to stabilize, but units are taking a lot more damage and might be able to be dropped in one game.
Shen really needed to apply some glancing here on the field. The limited amount of damage that ROSITH is bringing here. Looking for a Wild Blow to drop. The Vigor not doing it. Fran with third skill, healing up. Attack buffs are coming his way.
Yeah, not sure why he's not going after the Fran. That Vigor is usually a lot tankier than the Fran here, so interesting target selection here. May cost him the game because Tyrannies is so good in a Vigor. Can take out the Fran first, instead does not do so. Goes after the Vigor for some reason, and ROSITH left with 3 units, and that's exactly why he's winning that game.
There you have it. ROSITH taking round 2 away from Shen. So much back and forth.
So much back and forth, but Shen again with that big Gani Vile proc earlier. I mean, he was written out of that game, should have seen the door earlier, but was able to claw his way back and almost take it. But again, that target selection with Tyrannies, when you're that far into the game, I think it was either 30 or 40 up, down, and you have skill 2 in beast form primed and ready, you should be able to take out a Fran in one pop. And you know that Vigor is quite tanky, probably HP build. So usually Fran is a choice there. Even though there's elemental advantage, it doesn't matter. Got to take out that Fran. Fran just does so much in the late game, and I'm not sure why Shen was angling that way. And of course, the speed buffs on ROSITH's team also allowing him to outpace Shen constantly.
Yeah, procs. I think you meant to say procs because that Gani got so many of those additional turns at great moments as well, keeping up with that third skill or even getting that Ventilate back up because you saw how many times that Juno was able to get revived up. You saw Juno come back 4 times.
I mean, just so exactly so many procs on the game, and Shen still lost, right? Almost had it. That was some of the biggest, some of the most important procs we've ever seen in terms of pacing of the match. But of course, ROSITH with such a good draft, solid plays, able to hang in there. And now he may be looking to sweep this 3-0.
Yeah, possible 3-0 here. No matter what, we're gonna have a France representative going into Worlds. You can see pre-ban from last time, guys. We're getting into it. Third match between ROSITH and Shen. Ciara and Okeanos getting pre-banned in this match.
Yeah, and ROSITH is eyeing that ticket to go back to Worlds again. He has been drafting excellently. And again, this all comes down to denying that Ciara first pick here. ROSITH, first game, I think he went with the Fran first pick. Might just go with that again. He was able to eke out enough damage in the face of that Leo, so he might go for that, or he could also change his pattern of drafting and maybe drop some other control unit first, maybe even taking Gani. Decide to stick with the typical comp with that Fran first pick.
Yep, Fran first pick for ROSITH. Not even thinking it out. Shen just locking in that Ragdoll Viga.
I do like the Ragdoll Viga pick here because it's very good into Fran, and at the same time it denies ROSITH the Ragdoll. And ROSITH doesn't really have a Ciara to deal with this team here, so I like those picks. It allows Shen to go into Art of Rag later. So, and Daphnis is also terrible into Vigor. So really good picks here that deny certain picks from ROSITH. ROSITH going to neutral picks of Vanessa and Hathor.
Yeah, Vanessa Hathor being drafted by ROSITH. Shen looking to respond. We may see the Ada coming in here in the second round of picks.
We may see the Ada here, but Ada is also quite weak to that Hathor. I do like the Hathor pick. Shen does not have immunity here, but does decide to bring immunity with Amelia. I do like the Amelia in this spot if he's going to draft this way. He is also weak to a lot of AoE control, but at the same time, he can always finish the draft with like an Ileana last. So very well-rounded draft from Shen. And I would like to see a lot of wind coming out from ROSITH, probably some sort of an Ethna, a lot of maybe a Diana would be interesting. He's likely, if he's going to take Diana, banning out Artemel and just fighting through glancing. But I would like to see a lot of wind here with the ability to draft to ban out the last unit.
Interesting. I think that's definitely saying he's going to be letting that Amelia through, drafting that Bolvac.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Bolvark pick here. It's not terrible, but at the same time, not exactly a strong unit when your opponent controls when it gets stacks or when it doesn't. So Juno pick here is telling us that Shen is letting Hathor through, recognizing that Amelia might be let through in this game here. So I think that's what we're going to see. Juno is the ban here. We're going to see a situation in which ROSITH, I don't see how he wins here. His win condition is Bolvark plus damage, but the rest of the team doesn't do enough to get 50% down really quickly. So I think Shen has this on draft and can probably hit the auto button and walk away from this computer.
Let's see if Shen can hold on here. Getting into the round 3 match with ROSITH and Shen. Can ROSITH get the upset? Looking for the sleep on top of the Amelia, not receiving it there. Fran going to be buffing up.
Yeah, Fran does buff up here, wants to provide his team immunity. At the same time, that Bolvark is not going to do enough here with the combination of the other units here. Shen's going to be able to pick his team back up. Goes at the Arda, but again, Shen representing a very tanky team.
Yep, most definitely. So he's going to get his immunity up here. It is going to give stacks to the Bolvark. As he chooses to do that or not?
Definitely does not. Again, Shen does have the ability to control when he uses those buffs and gives Bolvark those stacks. And Artemil and Vigor and Amelia all heal. So he has enough healing on his side here. ROSITH basically needs to wait till it's 50 up, 50 down, and then have his units do enough damage with Bolvark.
Vigor going with the skill 3 on top of that Vanessa. Vanessa hoping for a defense break on top of Ada, not receiving it there. No strip coming out of Ada, but Ada has that fantastic second skill, healing himself to almost full.
Yeah, that's a massive resist from that Artemil here, because that might have given ROSITH the chance to come back. He is going to put the entire team to sleep, but it would have given ROSITH the chance to take out that Artemil, actually. So missing that, absolutely massive. But now he needs to do some damage, needs to get some procs on that Vanessa.
Yep, the unit of choice to wake up is going to be Ada there.
Yeah, unit of choice is Ada, but Ada is so tanky here. Not sure if ROSITH is going to be able to take it out. I mean, you see it's still at 75% health, and ROSITH doesn't have a defense break for a while here. So Shen looking like he's going to be able to survive this.
Yep, possibly. No additional turns coming out of any of those units there. No despair stuns this time coming out of Ada. I think he needs to pick up whatever ZERPOLITA's been using.
Yeah, I mean, no despair stuns on Artemil means that it's a lot weaker of a unit here. And now that Bolvark has 3 stacks, I wouldn't be surprised to see Shen use that bigger skill 3 because speed buff is so strong in this and is going to allow him to outpace his opponent.
Yep, he does have those 3 stacks there. Does he choose to use that second skill or not? We can find out. Does go with it, giving 5 stacks to that Bolvac.
Yeah, at that point, Shen's thinking about turn 2 afterwards. Is his opponent going to be able to do enough damage? He's thinking through the turns here and decides that it's worth taking the risk. Even if his opponent procs, he might not be able to take out this Artemil. Is not
still looking for the defense break on top of Ada, not receiving that defense break either. Looking for a little bit of attack bar reduction. Does get the attack bar reduction though. That third skill he's going to use on probably Ada, looking to drop the HP on him, and he is.
Yeah, he uses that third skill, but again, doesn't have enough burst to take out anything of Shen. Shen's going to be able to heal a lot. Amelia does provide healing. Arda's going to have skills up soon. And again, Vigor may have skills up soon too. So Shen's looking really good. But again, Shen doesn't quite have a lot of burst himself either too.
Definitely not. You can see the poke damage looking for an attack break on top of Ragdoll, not receiving it. Ada's going to be healing himself up with the skill 2. Fran heals herself up.
Yeah, again, this is kind of a slow matchup here. We're looking to see when a defense break is going to be able to be landed. Each player is looking for the ability to capitalize on the defense break. Does provoke the Fran and Vilepump.
Yeah, most definitely. ROSITH, he's just going to continue focusing down Ada. He's really, he's praying for these additional turns, and it finally landed a defense break on that unit. Not too sure if we're going to see it. We'll find out. Defense break does land on top of the Vanessa. No additional turn coming out of the Vigor.
Yeah, that's a huge provoke onto that Fran and a defense break onto that Vanessa, because now there's no way to cleanse that Vanessa. Vanessa's going to be dropping soon. unless this Fran procs, because that Ragdoll is going to do a lot of damage. But of course, there are skills up on this Hathor. So this Amelia may do enough damage, but that's a 2-turn sleep on each side.
Yep, everyone's going to be sleeping here due to Hathor's third skill. Oop, choosing to focus down the Amelia, not wanting to wake up this out of here.
Yeah, that's a very lucky proc by that Amelia. It's going to be able to pummel in more damage, or even decide to wake up the team here, and then, of course, giving the Bulwark stacks, but there's 2 turns of defense break on that Vanessa left.
Ooh, ROSITH really hoping for an additional turn there with the Fran not receiving it, though. Uses that third skill, dumps all the knowledge on top of Ada.
Yeah, dumps all the knowledge on top of Arda, but that Vanessa's gonna need to be able to survive a couple of hits here from that Ragdoll. That's so much damage from that Arda mail.
Massive defense buff damage coming from Ada right on top of that Vanessa. I think he's got to take advantage of that defense break. There's no time to freeze another unit, and he does. Shen drops that Vanessa.
Yeah, Vanessa drops. That's just so much damage coming off from the Artemel. And again, Fran not being able to outpace that speed buff is the reason why that Vanessa was not able to be picked up.
Fran going with a nice skill too. Is he going to survive? Is he going to drop the Ada? And he does. Hathor is going to be finishing off Ada there.
Yeah, Hathor does finish off Arda, but I don't see how ROSITH can come back here. I mean, these units are so good in the Bulwark. Bulwark doesn't really do very much here. Fran does do a lot at this point in the game, but it also takes a lot of damage.
Ooh, big skill too coming from Ragdoll. Ragdoll with no additional turn to finish off that Fran there, but we do have that skill 3, and this we do have the knowledge drop there on top of Ragdoll healing up that Fran.
Yeah, and Hathor does have skill 3 next, so that speed buff is going to allow Ragdoll to move in front here, possibly, but that Hathor does have the ability to put Shen's entire team to sleep.
Looking for an attack break onto Ragdoll. Does get it. Looking to put everybody to sleep here as well. Does he get the full attack bar reduction? No resistance on the side of Shen.
Yeah, no resistance on the side of Shen. Hathor, very strong unit here, but this is the point where it's 50 up, 50 down, and ROSITH can actually do enough damage with the Fran to be able to take a unit out. Any unit does damage at this point in the game.
Yep, looking for an attack break on top of the Amelia, not receiving it here. Amelia possibly looking for a freeze on the Fran, not receiving that freeze either. Bolvac looking to steal that to get another stack of knowledge.
Yeah, but at this point here, ROSITH is looking for a spot to be able to take out this Ragdoll based off of attack bars. Does not quite see it yet, so decides to poke something else, but that's exactly what ROSITH is looking for to be able to take this game away.
Hathor possibly looking to put this Amelia down with the skill 2. No, chooses the skill 2. The Ragdoll, keeping Ragdoll down. He needs to drop this Ragdoll and hope it doesn't get a torrent off.
Yeah, but we do have Fran moving in front of that Ragdoll, and that's going to be enough damage to take this Ragdoll out. And then with the Vigor and Amelia left, that's not enough to deal with this Bulwark. So ROSITH is going to be in a really good spot here. Should go for it because that Ragdoll is in torrent range anyway. So instead decides to go onto the Vigor, does not want to take the risk, and decides that he's going to be able to survive if somehow that Ragdoll is going to be able to get online.
Yep, choosing to apply some attack breaks onto the Vigor and the Amelia. Vigor looking for a defense break on top of Fran. There it is. Oh, but the torrent is not going to be up here.
Yeah, that torrent was used earlier, but at the same time, Shen may not be losing this Ragdoll right away. We'll see what happens here, but really like Shen's position with that Vigor, that Amelia into this situation.
Most definitely choosing to look to get a freeze onto the Hathor, not receiving it. Chooses to go with a skill 1 onto the Ragdoll, finishing off Ragdoll.
Actually, ROSITH is looking pretty good. He has a win unit into these. It's going to come down to the window of opportunity that Vigor has with that defense break on skill 3. That Bulwark does have full stacks, but again, half HP at this point in the game doesn't really do very much.
Yep, definitely looking for a freeze onto the Bulwark, not receiving that freeze. You can see this knowledge drop there onto the Vigor, totally reducing his HP. Looking for a defense break on top of the Bulwark, does receive that defense break, but we've got a skill 3 up here with the Hathor.
Yeah, I think the Hathor, he's thinking about either sleeping the Amelia or going after Vigor for damage there. Decides to go after Vigor here. Not sure about that move, but that Purifying Wave is going to give stacks to Bulwark, which is going to heal the team. But also, it's not going to be a lot of healing, but he decides to go after the damage here and use the Hathor to poke it out.
Ooh, there you go. Hathor does drop the Vigor. ROSITH possibly getting the 3-0 here on Shen. Wiping the sweat from his brow.
Wow, and ROSITH fist pumping, highly emotional, going back to Worlds again. You know he's excited about it. Huge win by ROSITH.
There you have it, guys. ROSITH is going to the final.
Wow, so happy for him. I mean, he's just such a nice guy. Had the chances to chat with him last year at Worlds. Great guy all around. Really invests a lot of time in this game. And you know how much it means to him. When you see him fist pumping, he can't believe he's going back. 3-0, really convincing games there. Really like the way he drafted. I wasn't sure about the Bulwark early, given the fact that your opponent can control it. But I guess when there's so many buffs on that side and your opponent is so heavily reliant on them, it's not a bad pick. So he really put Shen in awkward positions there in that game, and was ultimately, I mean, with the other two drafts, I mean, just totally dominated that match.
Yeah, definitely. As we take a look at the bracket here, you saw the emotion on ROSITH's face. Returning to the world stage, here he is. He is your first finalist of the Europe Cup. The ticket has been booked, but one step left to defending his crown. And of course, it's taken on whoever will win the other side of the bracket. But man, that game 3 was just a game of attrition. Both guys just kind of going back and forth. Shen with a very defensive comp, and ROSITH never had the opportunity to get the defense break there. But eventually, things worked out in the way of ROSITH, and convincingly so, closing out a 3-0 and booking his ticket to the finals. And again, another heartbreak here for Shen, the veteran Frenchman. A great showing, getting himself to the doorstep of Worlds, but not being let in by the person who's already occupied that spot in the past, ROSITH. All right, so that is 1 semifinals in the book, 1 ticket already booked. Here is ticket number 2, and it'll be VIILIPYTTY taking on ZERPOLITA as we take a look at the highlights from round number 1.
Yeah, I mean, this was probably the one where I say there was the most RNG and decisive RNG. I mean, we had the Han missing, the Daphnis missing skill 3. And then we saw here where the Han wasn't able to land defense break on the Shan. Might have been able to take it out had it landed, actually. And that would have made a huge difference. So I think OBABO won the drafts pretty well. But unfortunately, that's the game we play. We play Summoners War. It's fun sometimes because of the RNG, and not so fun because of the RNG. And in this case, VIILIPYTTY was able to take this 2-0 out. Actually, still almost lost here without Okeanos dumping skill 3, but just not enough damage there to take it home, and OBABO wasn't able to.
You could see the relief on VIILIPYTTY's face, and that was one part of the bracket there on the bottom side in the quarterfinals. In the other quarterfinals, it was ZERPOLITA taking control and procs on procs that all ISMOO could do was just smile.
Yeah, I mean, ISMOO was in a tough spot. He knows he's fighting Arda Rag. I don't think his box was very well suited for that matchup here. And of course, the no-will runes on ZERPOLITA's, a lot of ZERPOLITA's units was an interesting one, but didn't really cost him as his Amelia resisted on that opening part of game 1. So we'll see how he does into VIILIPYTTY and see if VIILIPYTTY caught on to that, if he was able to watch the matches.
Yeah, I'm highly sure VIILIPYTTY was able to watch the matches. Again, VIILIPYTTY probably should be better known as the bracket buster because everyone had OBABO going all the way through. OBABO had himself going all the way through. And he gets stopped at the door by VIILIPYTTY. And so ZERPOLITA and VIILIPYTTY now feels like a wide open type of contest between these two guys that dominated their quarterfinals matchup. And now we'll find out how it'll work here as we take a look at VIILIPYTTY's box here and his journey so far to the semifinals. Again, at the doorstep of the World Finals. And I feel like VIILIPYTTY, humble, confident, at times slightly cocky, but looking to wrestle his opponent to submission. What is this art that is happening here? We're in the arena with a wrestler down on his back and King VIILIPYTTY sitting on top of him.
I mean, he is a wrestling champ here, so that's definitely a huge part of his life, and very funny to see that integrated in the Summoners War. We'll see if he's going to be able to be champion today.
I want to hear you try to explain how fun Summoners War is if you're getting all the or if you're not getting all the procs and you're OBABO, because that was actually pretty interesting to me making a bud. You're like, that's our game, Summoners War. Sometimes it's great when you get all the procs, and someone who got a lot of procs in their quarterfinal matchup was ZERPOLITA, the pride of España. Right now, as we take a look at his player card and his journey so far, has not lost a single match, has lost a set there against SEIISHIZO 2-1. but did not lose the match overall.
Yeah, I mean, again, all I have to say is Artarag.
Artarag's worked pretty well so far for him, hasn't it, Stoic?
I mean, it didn't work out for Shen in his case, so I'll be honest, looking at this match, I think we're about to see another 3-0, but in favor of VIILIPYTTY.
Hey, is that me? Is that what I look like? I do look pretty, you know, my hair does get pretty wild and does change over time, and I do have pretty striking eyes right there. But ZERPOLITA, his fan art right there, basically stating what he wants his future to look like, the 2020 SWC champion. But to do that, he needs to win his matchup against the Viking that is VIILIPYTTY there. How do you feel like this is gonna pan out? Well, I guess we'll find out very, very soon. Let us know in the chat. We've seen you all night long. Let's see, what do we have here? I see a couple of, do we have some Spanish fans out here? Some Vamos España fans out there? Go ahead. Hype us up in the chat right now. And of course, this match and all the matches of the Europe Cup brought to you by Google Play. Head on over to Google Play. Find your arena and all the newest games only on Google Play. We're going to be finding out the final spot of the World Finals coming from Europe in this specific matchup. It's ZERPOLITA. It's VIILIPYTTY. Stoic, take us away.
Here we go, ZERPOLITA and VIILIPYTTY. Hopefully ZERPOLITA found some will runes going up against VIILIPYTTY. I think he's gonna need them here. Pre-bans have gone out. Amelia and Savannah getting pre-banned.
Yeah, but even though he doesn't have will runes, he also lost an Amelia here. So ZERPOLITA is gonna have to play with something other than Artarag. Goes with that CR first pick, as we've seen, very strong unit. VIILIPYTTY instantly reaches for that Okeanos and is deciding what to pair with. Goes with the Bastet. Interesting pick with the Bastet here. I'm not sure about this because Bastet does not do a ton after it goes off. So ZERPOLITA may just need to survive this Bastet in order to win this game.
Well, ZERPOLITA is going to be responding with a Josephine and a Juno after seeing an Okeanos Bastet coming out. VIILIPYTTY locking in the Ganymede and the Sean. He may have picked up on the no will runes ZERPOLITA was supplying in his previous match. ZERPOLITA is going to be wrapping up his draft here.
So VIILIPYTTY doesn't really represent defense break except from Bastet here, which comes out after the opening. So I would like to see some sort of a Molly, Ragdoll, or some way to come back, and just a ban on the last unit potentially. Instead, when he drafts out this way, he is letting both the AOE units through and likely taking out that Ganny, and is going to try to survive. So if I'm VIILIPYTTY, I'm going to add in one more piece of damage, maybe a Daphnis, or something else to be able to nuke out a unit. I think that's going to be his best way to attack here. Instead goes with a Vigor, and this signals likely a ban on that Ciara. Vigor is obviously a very strong unit. It gives you the speed buff and it gives you heals and whatnot. But either way, that's the ban. But ZERPOLITA is facing a Ganny Oki lockdown here.
Well, here we go, guys. We're getting into our first match with VIILIPYTTY and ZERPOLITA. Very important. Let's see if ZERPOLITA's got any will runes for the comp that he's brought here. Here we go, guys. ZERPOLITA, VIILIPYTTY, and we have ZERPOLITA with a very quick Josephine.
Yeah, that Josephine and Juno are both super fast, and that Sierra also following up super fast. So either VIILIPYTTY has C3 speeds or ZERPOLITA has legend speeds. Either way, that Bastet does outspeed the other two units, and we're going to see a lot of damage coming out from this Ganny, Sean, Oki combo.
There's the reset going out onto the CR. You can see Seal of Magic coming out onto Josephine. Does he get the full attack bar reduction? And he does. Sean primed and ready. Going with the third scale, getting the stuns onto the Josephine and the CR as well, pushing up his team in front. Possible Curse of Beautiful coming out, and he does choose to go with the Curse of Beautiful, getting the heal blocks on top of everybody.
And this is going to be one of the fastest games of the day here. That Okeanos is going to do so much, and there's a Sean and a Ganny, and with Ventilate in the back pocket, VIILIPYTTY is going to take a very quick 1-0 lead here.
Massive skill 2 right onto that Juno, removing it from the field. And we've got Okeanos with the Rain of Stones pummeling so much damage, dropping that Fire Monkey King, going for that reset. VIILIPYTTY taking round 1 away from ZERPOLITA.
I mean, that was as quick of a match as we've ever seen here. I don't know why ZERPOLITA decided to take out that Vigor. I really think he should have taken out either the Ganny or some piece of damage there. And I think with this draft, he wasn't able to survive the onslaught. The Fire Monkey doesn't quite do enough I would have preferred to see a Molly in play or something else to allow him to mitigate damage. Fire Monkey does damage on its own later once it gets stacks, but he needs more damage mitigation on his team. We didn't see that, especially when your opponent takes a Bastet first. Didn't see that proper response to the Bastet, and that's why he got wiped out in probably the fastest match of the day today.
Really enjoyed VIILIPYTTY's draft there. Very smart draft. And honestly, this is showing he's doing his homework here. And I love seeing that these players have put in their work and their effort is showing in their drafts and matches.
Yeah, I mean, just a very great draft by VIILIPYTTY here with that Bastet, super fast Bastet, and then a lot of damage from his team. It's interesting to note that ZERPOLITA's Josephine outsped everything on VIILIPYTTY's team. So I wouldn't be surprised if that unit was on Swift, because it's really hard to get violent units that are plus 190 up. And I'm not sure if VIILIPYTTY has those types of runes on there. So really, really well drafted by VIILIPYTTY, and also very fast and exciting match we just saw.
Most definitely. You can see the pre-bans from last time, that Amelia getting pre-banned by VIILIPYTTY and the Savannah getting pre-banned by ZERPOLITA.
Yeah, ZERPOLITA taking out a piece of the damage coming out from VIILIPYTTY. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Gani ban though. Gani's just such a strong unit in the hands of VIILIPYTTY, especially into what ZERPOLITA is repping and without will runes. But we see a Sierra pre-ban, of course, denying your opponent the Sierra in this meta, very strong, and European players with Sierra are very dangerous. They know how to use that unit very well and how to pair it. So we see a Wusa pre-ban and the Sierra pre-ban, and VIILIPYTTY showing us that he's going for aggression.
Yep, definitely going for aggression. First picking that Bastet. ZERPOLITA looking to respond. We may be seeing some turn 2 play coming out of ZERPOLITA now.
Yeah, I mean, I think ZERPOLITA either needs to counter this with some sort of Chiwu Okeanos, which is a very great counter into aggression, or needs to barrel down turn 2 with like Arta Rags, Mollies, Tyrannies, Vigors, things like that. So he's got two options to go with. Definitely decides to go with the second, which is to go turn 2. So VIILIPYTTY likely going to double down on his play with some sort of Gani Shans, Okies, and things like that.
No, well, there's the Okeanos coming out for VIILIPYTTY after responding to Ragdoll Molly, finishing it off with a Shan.
Yeah, and so we're not seeing the Gani come out yet. And so this might be a player read where ZERPOLITA may not actually have a Gani. Otherwise, it would make a lot more sense for VIILIPYTTY to go Gani Oki there and take the Shan later. So I actually don't think ZERPOLITA doesn't have a Gani, which is pretty unlucky given the fact that he has an Arta Rag but doesn't have a Gani. So he does have to go with turn 2 here and goes with Amelia and Josephine. Not sure about this response here, given the fact that he's off will runes completely. VIILIPYTTY is definitely going to be laying down the Ganymede, and he's going to have free reign to do whatever he wants. I would like to see a Poseidon, if given the fact that ZERPOLITA doesn't have will, Poseidon would probably win him the game outright against the Molly. But again, this response is also perfectly okay. I mean, Savannah does so much, and so does Sean stunning the team. I mean, this is just a lot of aggression coming out from the side of VIILIPYTTY.
Yeah, VIILIPYTTY looking very, very strong. ZERPOLITA needs to wrap up his draft and responding to see an Ethna and a Savannah, and it is going to be a Juno.
Yeah, the tough part about VIILIPYTTY's draft for ZERPOLITA is that both Ethna and Savannah give defense break, AoE defense break off the bat. There's a lot of AoE stuns here. I mean, VIILIPYTTY can probably ban out either the Molly or the Josephine and be perfectly fine, or just ban out the last unit of Juno if you don't want to be revenged into Despair style. So a lot of bans are fair game here, and VIILIPYTTY does decide to take out that Juno, and ZERPOLITA his path to victory is going to rely on that Molly to provide glancing to his team, which comes at a 20%.
Well, crit rate lead for VIILIPYTTY, accuracy lead for ZERPOLITA. Can ZERPOLITA hold on and finally take a match away from VIILIPYTTY? Or are we going to continue to see the pattern today? Is VIILIPYTTY going to get a 2-0 here, potentially going into a third match? ZERPOLITA really needs to take one, honestly, for everyone. Here we go, guys. Amelia taking first turn off of Will. Is it a Swift Amelia?
That is definitely a Swift Amelia, and it's so fast that it outspeeds the Bastet. So might be the world's slowest Bastet, which we've seen that it's at a decent speed, but also super fast Amelia there. Now VIILIPYTTY does have the ability to take out a unit with skill 2 from that Sean, and a lot of damage coming out from Ethna here, and does need to take out that Amelia, or he's going to be in trouble without healing.
Capture is not able to stun it up there. Savannah applying a lot of damage here. Sean looking to finish off the Amelia, and does so. Very quick for VIILIPYTTY.
Yeah, very quick for VIILIPYTTY here, and that Molly not doing anything at all. That 20% did not come into play, so a little unlucky for ZERPOLITA. Might cost him this game as he takes defense breaks and more damage coming out from all of the units on the side of VIILIPYTTY.
Yeah, definitely gets the heal blocks as well. The defense break on top of that Molly, but a stun in the additional turn coming out of this Josephine.
Yeah, this Josephine's going to need to do a lot of work, but does not get that stun onto Savannah, which is pretty huge, as Savannah does have the ability to give the team speed buff and AoE defense break and AoE reset on the other team. So it's just so much change in tempo and a lot of damage that VIILIPYTTY is constantly going to be able to churn out here.
Shadow came out getting that defense break on top of Ragdoll. Savannah not able to get a defense break on anybody either. You can see that skill too coming up for Josephine, looking for provoke on Ethna, not receiving that provoke there. Ethna trying to take care of this Ragdoll. Ragdoll does hold on. The attack break comes out on the Ragdoll. Savannah's going to be dropping the Ragdoll there with the additional turn as well. Oh, there you have it. VIILIPYTTY taking round 2 away from ZERPOLITA.
I mean, this is just a tough matchup for ZERPOLITA. I mean, you saw that Amelia was still able to take turn 1, and usually when you take turn 1 into units and give immunity over units that provide defense break, you should be able to win, but unfortunately that 20% from Molly wasn't able to come into play there. VIILIPYTTY took out that Amelia, and once that happened, ZERPOLITA's units were sitting duck. Kind of a tough situation. VIILIPYTTY just, I think, has the monster box advantage over ZERPOLITA. As odd as it sounds into an Art of Rag, I think VIILIPYTTY is favored based off of monster box, knows this matchup well, and knows that his way to beat this comp is by nuking units down, using Bastet, and just bringing lots of aggression, ending these games super quickly.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I definitely feel for ZERPOLITA. I think I have a very similar draft style to him as well, and I know exactly what's going on in his head, and it's just that non-ability to get that first turn. Though I would have my units willed up just a little bit more than ZERPOLITA has, but he's doing his absolute best. You can see he's looking to units like the Amelia, like the Wusa, trying to get as much immunity up as possible, and that probably explains why he's running such a fast Amelia. But yeah, I mean, here we go, guys. We're getting into round 3 with ZERPOLITA and VIILIPYTTY. You can see the pre-bans from last time, the Wusa and the Ciara.
Yeah, we're going to see that Amelia pre-ban. That Amelia outsped Bastet. So kind of an interesting situation there. That Amelia probably on ZERPOLITA's fastest runes, and it's off will, because typically Bastet sit in the 310 range, 315 nowadays. So even though, and so it's a super fast Amelia being pre-banned. Taking out the Sean is an interesting one. I'm not sure if that's the right ban, just because there's so many AoE units. Sean's role can be replaced by any other unit out there. So, but I think the ban on the Sean is to allow him to take that Ciara. I think ZERPOLITA is fighting at a speed
that ban on the Sean. He definitely respected that. You could see it in his face.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, I mean, VIILIPYTTY's team can replace Sean with any other AoE unit. Sean is not core to be to allow his team to tee off again, and that's why we see the Bastet Ganny go off here. He wants to keep his flex picks, the Okeanoses, the Ethnas, open-ended, the Savannahs. He doesn't know which ones to use yet, and that's what makes this draft so strong in the ZERPOLITAs. He's able to push aggression and can figure out how he wants to attack and how he wants to use his damage units.
ZERPOLITA looking at turn 2 again with that first pick, of course, with Ciara, Ada, and then Molly. VIILIPYTTY looking to respond with an Okeanos and one more unit.
Yeah, so Ciara, Artemel, and Molly don't give a lot of immunity here. So VIILIPYTTY likely going to lay down the Savannah, but he needs to be aware of ZERPOLITA with the possibility of double immunity. If there was an Ileana Wusa last 2 pick, that would be very strong here. We knew that VIILIPYTTY was going to go Oki Savannah just by how he's drafting and what ZERPOLITA's weak to, but some sort of double immunity would be quite strong from ZERPOLITA's side.
ZERPOLITA has 2 last picks, needs to respond very well to seeing an Okeanos Savannah. He needs to stay in this competition here with these last 2 picks.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind seeing a Leo and ban on Ganymede here, or some way to survive long term. Goes with the Feng Yan. We haven't seen a Wind Panda all day, and I don't think we've seen one all in APAC Cup or the America's Cup very much. So interesting pick on the Wind Panda here. If Wusa is banned out, ZERPOLITA has literally 0 immunity and units that are all weak to defense break. So interesting pick there by ZERPOLITA.
Yeah, most definitely. VIILIPYTTY looking to draft 1 last unit, and it is going to be the Ethna. It's a great response to seeing this Wusa.
Yeah, Ethna's a great pick here. Again, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Wusa banned out, and then you're going to be facing an Gani Oki lockdown. And if not a Gani Oki lockdown, there's going to be Savannah, Ethna, Oki, which is also super oppressive. Lots of attack bar resets. It's just a lot to take in if you're ZERPOLITA. Very tough situation, and I highly favor ZERPOLITA's comp, even if he loses a unit off the bat.
Yep, well, bans are out here. We have Bastet getting banned on VIILIPYTTY's side of the field. Wusa getting banned on ZERPOLITA's side of the field. Speed lead for ZERPOLITA. Let's see if we can take that first turn away from VIILIPYTTY, or is that Okeanos going to be fast enough? We're about to find out, guys. Does VIILIPYTTY get the 3-0 on ZERPOLITA? Can ZERPOLITA take one away to stay in this competition? Here we go. Ethna is going to be taking first turn here. The only will runes are up on top of the CR, and that is it. Capture's coming out on that CR, looking for a stun here, not receiving the stun.
Yeah, but at the same time, VIILIPYTTY has all 3 units with lots of damage coming out, moving right next. He's tuned very well. Molly does go in front of the Ethna, but doesn't matter. He has a Gani, Oki, and Savannah lockdown, and it's a violent Okeanos, so VIILIPYTTY is just basically going to be able to solitaire his way to the finals.
Yep, the stun's coming out, stunned up that Wind Panda and the CR as well. Gets the reset on top of CR with that Okeanos Violent proc.
Yeah, I think he should have gone for the stun on the Gani there instead of healing up. I understand that his unit was low on health, and oftentimes you want to restore health, but that Gani is going to be able to swing tempo a lot, resets the Feng Yan, and again, just too much damage coming out from the side of VIILIPYTTY.
Yeah, too much damage indeed. We can see a Shadow coming out here looking for defense break, especially on top of that Ada as well. Does get the defense break, but of course Ada's going to be revenging still, but the damage is going to be cut in half, that's for sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately, does get the Despair stun, but again, that Gani is going to be able to vent that Savannah, and Savannah's going to be able to go off again. And then once that goes off, there's going to be more skills coming out from Okeanos.
Ooh, we do have a Violent proc coming out of the Feng Yan, landing the defense break on top of Ethna. Ethna is looking a little low. Is Ada going to bring enough damage? Does not bring enough damage here. We're going to see that skill coming out of Savannah as their defense breaks on all of ZERPOLITA's units. Does finish off that CR defense break, still sitting on top of this Adamel.
Wow, but that's a huge proc by Okeanos because it does allow him to skill 3, and that Savannah does have skill 2 up, so he's going to be able to nuke out a unit. There's only 2 units left from ZERPOLITA, and I don't see this Feng Yan soloing into a Gani, Oki, and Savannah.
I do not, but I do believe ZERPOLITA is going to try, that's for sure. Looking for a strip on top of that Savannah, not receiving it. We're going to see this skill 2 possibly go out onto the Feng Yan, making sure that skill 2 is not going to be up there. No, chooses to go for the reset, not receiving it on top of the Molly.
Yeah, that Feng Yan was reset earlier here, so ZERPOLITA is just going to rely on riding this Feng Yan to victory. Feng Yan does have skill 2 up, but again, not sure if that Feng Yan is ignored. I don't know if ZERPOLITA has enough to come out.
I mean, VIILIPYTTY definitely has to be careful, because we have seen Feng Yan solo in the past, but Savannah's going to have to put a stop to that. We're going to find out. ZERPOLITA, he's still in it.
Yeah, we're going to need to see this Feng Yan proc every time, because Gani Oki lockdown means that Feng Yan might not ever take a turn. Once this Molly's out here, Molly's not going to be able to provide glancing, and that's going to mean a lot of damage being taken by this Feng Yan.
Ooh, there's a gigantic roar dropping the Molly there, but Savannah is looking very low. Needed to get that stun onto the Feng Yan as well. Feng Yan needs to Violent proc. Spirit of Devastation coming out, does not get the full strip because the heal is still going to be there, but the proc from Feng Yan does pop out there. Defense break sitting on top of this Savannah. Savannah is looking a little low. Is this going to be enough to finish off the Feng Yan? Feng Yan is dropped. VIILIPYTTY taking the 3-0 on ZERPOLITA.
Wow, what a match there. And of course, at the end, ZERPOLITA giving the clapping at the camera, very well-mannered, congratulating his opponent. I mean, that was just super well drafted by VIILIPYTTY. Clearly, as we talk about homework, has done his homework, knew exactly what his approach was going to be, drafted very consistently, and knew how he was going to command that series, and made it look easy.
Yeah, you know, he did. Another 3-0 here as we take a look at the bracket. Congratulations to ZERPOLITA making it this far, but VIILIPYTTY, the Viking, the man who broke every single bracket, will be going to the World Finals. We have our finalists here. ROSITH and VIILIPYTTY are 2 Worlds attendees here from the Europe Cup. Congratulations to both of them. They have one more battle to do before we close things out to crown ourselves a European champion heading over to the World Finals. So, man, what a tournament it's been so far. Again, all of that brought to you by Google Play. Find your arena and all the new games only on Google Play. And for you all at home that want to level up your skill, don't worry, you've been spamming it in the chat. Ian, Motion, or Evan, Gigi, they've all been spamming the codes right back at you, and they got one more to put on in there. Mega SWC 2020, obviously Mega in German means the best, so best W. SWC 2020 is your code. Mega SWC 2020, 150 energy, and a water attribute scroll. When we come back, the conclusion of the Europe Cup. Don't go anywhere. You're watching SWC 2020.
This Josephine is massive for ZERPOLITA the whole day. She's the carry of the match already, couple of turns in, but takes a huge amount of damage from the...
That's already gonna be the turn of Shiho, where he's gonna be able to get this Josephine off the board, and there's an additional proc going for the Amelia now. This looks very, very nice for
that's
SEIISHIZO.
a crazy amount of damage. Ollie, S2 is coming up shortly. If she gets one more proc, she'll be able to cleanse. The Tessarion is still going in for the Vanessa, even though there's a bomb on her. Oh my god.
Being able to hold hands with the Artemil, that's a lot of heal.
And he chooses to go for the debate. Once again, a huge proc. That's going to be a dead debate, I'm pretty sure. See this Diana able to take down the Tyrannus. Judging from the first turn damage, I would say so. Yeah, the Tyrannus goes down,
yes.
and he is in the Druid form right now. Sorry, the Beast form right now, and a proc from Diana here can be detrimental.
Just one proc. Is this a proc? No, it's not a proc. You're gonna reset because this Veladjul is still having the immunity up. And,
I love this play coming in from OBABO, resetting the Diana, letting her cycle once again, and if we see a huge proc from Diana, oh my god, will this...
Yeah, this is OBABO, known for his very aggressive playstyle, giving the attack bar, the skills up again for the Diana. There is right here the Antares, there is Josephine, and there's Amelia. So there's even more protection. Look at these blue markers of immunity, not having that much impact. There is slow, there is stunts on the side of ZERPOLITA. Wow, the Ganymede is already done. That is some very fast runes on the side of ZERPOLITA. With the Josephine and the Juno and also the Sierra being faster than the monsters of Zapin.
That defense break is crucial. It's gonna significantly lower the damage output coming in from this bulldozer, but he still he almost kills the Vanessa. Almost.
Good turn, and Olivia has second skill up, so he can do second skill on Bulldozer. Bulldozer can stun the Daphnis.
Or just delete
him.
Can
actually kill it. Wow.
Since my birth I've had to beat the world. I never lose, no I don't hate you. I'm designed to beat you. Everybody is my enemy. Till the time you see me in a crowd. Don't know how to pity you, get out of my way. Every pain I've been through makes me stronger. Too many days I've been waiting, I've been training. I'll feel the time comes. I'm not afraid 'cause war is my fate. Break the barrier, it's my area. Need no savior, I'm the rule maker. No matter if it's criminal in this area, I'm the rule maker. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. I'm the rule maker. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. I'm the rule maker. Everything you are, I'm here to take it all. This is a great victory. Keep on all your eyes on me. Now I feel it's not far away. Sword in my hand, tells me I'm the one. Don't know how to pity you, get out of my way. Every pain I've been through makes me stronger. Too many days I've been waiting, I've been training. I'll feel the time come. I'm not afraid 'cause war is my fate. Break the barrier, it's my area. Need no savior, I'm the rule maker. No matter if it's criminal in this area, I'm the rule maker. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. I'm the rule maker. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. I'm the rule maker. Now I'm walking into history. You're never gonna see me destroyed. 'Cause always war is my fate. Now I'm walking into history. You're never gonna see me destroyed. 'Cause always war is my fate. Break the barrier, it's my area. Need no savior, I'm the rule maker. No matter if it's
It's been a long and arduous road, but we now have our 8 competitors heading to the World Finals. But all that's left to do is crown ourselves a European champion. Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel Digon Gonzalez, as I've been the whole tournament long, alongside those 2 fantastic, beautiful faces in your screen right there, through the internet, right to your eyes. It's Stoic and Make It a Bud. Guys, we've had a long, long tournament, and we've got one more match before we get ourselves to the World Finals, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a day full of upsets and a day full of great drafts, preparation. I mean, we saw a lot of great plays, good, well thought out drafts so far, and we have an exciting finals ahead of us.
We absolutely do, and we've got the upset machine, VIILIPYTTY, who will be up against the experience, the reigning European champion, the world finalist in the form of ROSITH. And I think we have 2 very, very contrasting forms of experience, don't we, here?
I mean, we definitely do. We definitely do. I mean, we see that ROSITH has been to Worlds before, and at the same time, VIILIPYTTY has never made it to Worlds and has never really made it too far. So very excited to see a new face come on.
Yeah, we got to see in the America's Cup, it felt like, okay, this was J-Max, tournament to win. Trakamu, happy to be there, happy to book his ticket. We saw him throw on the wig and was willing to turn from Trakamu into Giano. But here, I feel like we've got ourselves a final to battle for the medals to head on over to Worlds, as you see there, and also the battle for the title of European champion, because VIILIPYTTY is, again, gunning for everyone and was ready to flip the script on its head. It would be such a fairy tale story here for ROSITH to go back to back, but VIILIPYTTY here also worthy of wearing the crown after upsetting one of the big, favorites of the tournament in OBABO, and then pretty much controlling and dominating the game against ZERPOLITA in the semifinals to book his ticket here. So Stoic, I feel like I want to know here, what is the claim to the crown here for VIILIPYTTY? I can't hear you right now, so then make it a butt. What is the claim to the crown here for VIILIPYTTY?
Yeah, I mean, as Stoic figures out the mute button on his side, we'll say that the claim to VIILIPYTTY here, I think it's going to be about balancing aggression versus turn 2. This is going to be the most back and forth finals I think we'll expect, just because both players can play different speed ranges and have wide boxes. I think it favors ROSITH quite a bit more just because of his depth of LDs. He's shown adeptness of drafting, but VIILIPYTTY's creative too. I mean, he's bringing Bastet, pairing it with units, done his homework, knows his matchup spot.
All right, well, you can see the fan art here for ROSITH. It is, if we have a French speakers, I would love to hear what this translation is. Ramener la cour à la maison. I believe I said that correctly, but you know me and my multiple languages, I just try my best. Here's another one that was made for ROSITH. Go ROSITH. That one I can read with accuracy, and I'm pretty sure that means go ROSITH. But again, the back-to-back European finalists and going for the back-to-back champion. There it is. Okay, thank you, Feed HS. Bring the cup back home. That's what that means there. So gotcha. So thank you there for the translation, ROSITH. The thumbs up. He's ready to go. He's very excited. I'm excited to see if we have any Finnish fans to explain whatever the fan art is here for VIILIPYTTY. So any Finnish fans, any VIILIPYTTY fans here in the chat, go ahead. Let's hear you right now, because your mans has made it all the way to the finals against the odds in the style of play that he loves here. He has wrestled his opponents to submission in perfect fashion in the Europe Cup here. Hasn't lost a single set. His only losses came where he lost the match against Knight X-Knight X96 here. But since then, 2-0, 2-0, and 3-0 to book his ticket to Worlds, and now one step away from the title of European champion.
Yeah, I mean, today neither player has dropped matches, so this is a clash of the titans. And that's a very interesting fan art that almost looks like it's an actual live cosplay on there with the sign that says "Let's go VIILIPYTTY."
Yeah, Stoic, what do you think about this fan art?
That's fantastic fan art. I love how it's to scale as well, where they're showing the floor and they're stepping through it because it's a very small character. That's fantastic.
I also enjoy hearing your voice. It really enjoyed it my day. And there it is. It is one of Stoic's favorite characters to say. It's Vega right here for VIILIPYTTY. You know, the ice character for the man from the Nordic in Finland, where it is a beautiful climate for him. And VIILIPYTTY was dashing the hopes of a lot of the Spanish fans, including the Spanish casters there. I think, who did we have? We had Kachugo and Meza on the Spanish broadcast that were very much vying their best for ZERPOLITA and urging him on. But VIILIPYTTY, I think he has something here to prove that he's just gone through every single barrier. And up next is the barrier that that ROSITH has put up, that CHENE was unable to break through.
I mean, ROSITH is drafting very excellently today, knowing how to use his box and combine it with meta units, and you know, drafting pretty flawlessly here. And then, of course, so I think he's going to be a very tough matchup for VIILIPYTTY. And then, of course, VIILIPYTTY doing his homework, understanding his opponents, knowing exactly how to handle ZERPOLITA earlier. Once you saw the same draft come out a million times, you knew that he had that. Both players very animated. You see how pumped ROSITH was earlier. And I think at this point, both are just happy to be in the finals. And of course, we have the crown champion.
And here we go. This was the other match there where it felt like VIILIPYTTY found the hole in ZERPOLITA's game right away. It felt minimal will runes here and just an overpowering performance by VIILIPYTTY, wasn't it, Stoic?
It definitely is, and I think this is where it really pays off to have will on your units. VIILIPYTTY was able to really exploit that, where we end up seeing like 1 or 2 units that had it, and you can tell by the way that ZERPOLITA was leaning towards those immunity units, drafting the Amelia, trying to get the Wusa in there, and VIILIPYTTY just wouldn't let him have it.
No, they wouldn't let him have it at all, and so our match for the finals comes down to this. Is it the experience, the reigning champion in ROSITH, trying to stake his claim to back-to-back titles, or will the upstart, the guy that has taken the script and flipped it over back and forth, VIILIPYTTY, stake his claim to the first European championship? Ale ROSITH or go VIILIPYTTY? Let us know in the chat right now to call all of the action, unmuted, unleashed. It's Stoic and Make It a Bud. Let's go.
Here we go, guys. We have our final with Rosie and VIILIPYTTY. But I don't know anybody who wants it more than VIILIPYTTY right now, but he's got a big tree to climb here. Can he take down Rosie? We'll find out. Pre-bans are in. We can see Okeanos and Ragdoll getting pre-banned, and Rosie with the first pick.
We see ROSITH is taking out the Okeanos, understanding that that is a key part of VIILIPYTTY's draft, and that it's ruined very quickly, so that it's something that he needs to be aware of. Taking the Sarah first pick, but then a quick counter pick with a Vanessa right away. I'm not sure if we need that. Savannah's always a great pick, very strong unit, good in almost every situation.
Now, Vanessa Savannah for VIILIPYTTY. Rosie with that first pick with the CR, looking at a Fran right now. He really likes that Fran. He's been including it in almost all of his drafts here.
Interesting take on the Juno. He was either going to go with some sort of a Daphnis or a Juno there to be able to counter the team here. VIILIPYTTY is showing that he's lacking a little bit of immunity, so that's his weakness at the moment here. If I'm ROSITH here, I would really like to lay down, I still say this time and time again, a really tanky Dover and another AoE unit would probably take this draft here. Some way to capitalize on the fact that your opponent has no immunity. And that's kind of what he's going for. He's going for the Dark Monkey, and I anticipate probably either one form of support or one more AoE unit. Either option is okay here because Sierra can dominate on its own here. Goes with the Daphnis. Interesting choice. That tells me he's likely taking out the Vanessa first, but is not committed to it.
Yeah, well, Rosie wrapped up his draft with that Dark Monkey King and a Daphnis. VIILIPYTTY looking at a Chiwu right now as his last pick, chooses to lock it in as well. Double speed lead for VIILIPYTTY. Potential first turn coming out of him.
Yeah, interesting take on the Chiwu. I like the opening here. It would give him a really strong opening, but of course, ROSITH doesn't want to deal with the Chiwu, so takes it out. We're going to be left with a lot of damage coming out from VIILIPYTTY's side.
Yep, definitely. 33 speed lead for VIILIPYTTY. He wants to take this first round. It's going to be very important for him. Here we go, guys. Round 1 on the final. VIILIPYTTY versus Rosie. Ethno is going to be taking first turn on VIILIPYTTY side of the field, going for a capture. Not getting the stun onto that Daphnis, but does confirm that strip. Going for an AoE. Does land that defense break on top of the Daphnis here.
Yeah, massive proc. They're able to get defense breaks and able to have Vigor wipe out Daphnis off the bat.
That's right, VIILIPYTTY puts Rosie on the back foot immediately, dropping that Daphnis. Savannah going with a gigantic roar. Gonna get the defense break onto the Juno, gets the additional turn as well. He's gonna take advantage of that, and does.
Yeah, so basically ROSITH is stuck with 3 units to 4 here. I don't think the Dark Monkey can solo even with the Fran support, but he's definitely gonna try. It's not over yet, but ROSITH needs a lot to go his way if he wants to take this.
Going in with that third skill, getting 3 stuns out there, and the defense break is going to be on the field as well. Vanessa trying to take advantage of that defense break, sitting on top of the Juno. Vigor was looking to finish off, but the Savannah did not supply enough damage to drop that Juno.
Yeah, big proc, big damage into that Juno there, but again, Juno's super tanky. Really like this build, and it finally goes down.
That VIILIPYTTY very aggressive, almost taking down Rosie already. Rosie looking for a defense break with that Dark Monkey King, does confirm with the additional turn as well, and stuns up that Vanessa.
Yeah, but here's where speed buff prevails here. Dark Monkey does need another turn for skill 3 to come up. Might not be able to get it unless it procs again, and that speed buff is going to allow VIILIPYTTY's team to lap.
Yep, going in for the capture, does get the full strip and the stun onto the Fran. Big skill 2 from this Dark Monkey King, possibly. No, he's going to concede it. VIILIPYTTY's going to be taking round 1 away from Rosie. What a strong performance.
Yeah, very strong opening. You had an Esna opening and then proccing into a defense break. So that's 22%, and then a Vigor outspeeding the Daphnis. So once that proc happened, that Daphnis was gone, and that pretty much was the game there. But very strong opening from VIILIPYTTY here. I think either way, there was a lot of aggression coming out. Came down to a little RNG, but I think he might have been okay even if he didn't proc.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, I think VIILIPYTTY's done his homework here, because ROSITH, he is drafting pretty predictable compared to a lot of his other matches. I think VIILIPYTTY may have him read, but we're going to find out as we go into round 2 with Rosie and VIILIPYTTY.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these two adjust to each other here. Again, these matchups are all about speeds and turn orders. Which unit moves in front of the other unit based off of speeds, and then turn orders, and then which one dies first. You're generally going to see the drafts revolve around how they open and whether they're able to get a 4-3 advantage off the bat. So we'll see. Both players look focused here. They might be getting in the game too, and it looks like we are.
There we go. You can see the pre-bans from last time. Okeanos and Ragdoll getting pre-banned out. New pre-bans coming in right here.
Yeah, so we saw the Ragdoll pre-ban. I'm curious to see what VIILIPYTTY decides to take out from ROSITH's side here. I wouldn't be surprised to see like an Eleanoa or Dark Monkey pre-ban. Probably a Dark Monkey, given the fact that VIILIPYTTY doesn't have it, and ROSITH tends to be drafting that now. But instead decides to take out that Fran, which is actually giving VIILIPYTTY challenges as he snipes out a unit or attempts to snipe out a unit and then has to fight on turn 2. So Fran is a really good pre-ban here and allows VIILIPYTTY to continue pressing aggression.
Oh, VIILIPYTTY's going to be drafting a Ciara as his first pick. ROSITH looking to respond, taking that Vanessa and the Vigor away, which are the 2 first picks coming out of VIILIPYTTY last match.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Vigor here at this specific juncture, just because it kind of puts him at a slower speed and allows VIILIPYTTY to go fast, exactly as he's showing here. He won't have that Chiwu in his back pocket, but he's going to be able to apply a lot of pressure. ROSITH actually going for that Leo, which I like a lot into this. Keeps his draft open-ended. I'm not sure about the Juno in this situation, but Juno and Leo pair very well together.
And VIILIPYTTY with 2 last picks, going to be wrapping up his draft after seeing a Leo and a Juno.
Yeah, but Leo and Vigor also don't work well together. So something like a ban on Juno and then bring in 2 AoE units or bring in more AoE is going to be very good against ROSITH, because Sierra is also very good into Leo. Vigor is terrible with Leo together. So I think ROSITH is kind of misplaying with this draft here. Rakuni, obviously a pick for that Leo too. So we know Leo's going to be in play. Juno's tentatively the ban, but I think VIILIPYTTY's comfortable banning out that 5th unit if he really needs to.
Yep, most definitely. Well, wraps up his draft with that Rakuni and the Ethna. Rosie looking at a Belinus to wrap up his draft as well, and confirms that.
And I think we're gonna see a ban on that Belinus here, just because that's the biggest source of RNG. It's the way you get killed in one pop here. So that Belinus is going to be banned, not banned, interestingly enough. So if ROSITH resists a reset from the Okeanos, he's going to be in a great spot here. VIILIPYTTY just needs to hang on long enough and then do enough damage to pop out a unit.
Well, both speed leads going to be banned out here, but we have 2 crit rate leads coming out for both these guys. We're getting into round 2 with Rosie and VIILIPYTTY. We could possibly see an upset, but Rosie could still hold on here. No reason why he can't. Big torrents coming out from this Leo onto the Savannah. Ethna possibly looking for a 3rd skill capture, getting the stun on top of that Belinus as well.
It gets a stun on the Belinus and actually decides to go for a reset on the Vigor here, so we'll not have the reset for that Belinus, so VIILIPYTTY needs to be aware and take control of that Belinus whenever possible. But Belinus can't proc, otherwise VIILIPYTTY probably loses instantly.
No doubt. Big Future coming out looking for some Despair Stuns, getting that Despair Stun on top of the Savannah. You can see that Raccoon pushed up that Okeanos, but here comes Vigor looking to deal some damage to that Okeanos. Full stuns are going to be up here, going to get the full team stun. Looking to confirm it. Does not get that stun on top of the Leo, though.
But look at how much damage this Belinus is taking. Belinus is basically gone with the skill 3 from the Oki and then a skill 1. So there we go. I don't think ROSITH has a real way to win once with that Raccoonian play and all this damage coming out from VIILIPYTTY.
That was massive damage coming out of VIILIPYTTY. Defense break sitting on top of the Leo, so even the Leo's going to be taking a lot of damage, but he's choosing to go after the Vigor.
Yeah, and this is a lot of little healing that this Raccoon is bringing and a lot of manipulation, boosting up different units left and right. Ethna does have its skills up again, and that's just a lot of cooldowns coming out from VIILIPYTTY.
Rosie looking for the Despair Stun on top of the other, not receiving it there. Okeanos getting the reset back onto the Vigor, and we have Savannah looking to pop that Vigor right here, and does not, but gets the initial turn anyways.
Does get the additional turn anyways. Decides to go after the Vigor. Vigor would have died anyways with that dot. Doesn't matter though, did not want to touch a different unit. And again, it's just 4 units on VIILIPYTTY's side here. ROSITH needs a miracle in order to come back in this one.
Really does. No Despair Stuns. That could have been the miracle he's looking for. Possible 3rd scale going out onto the Leo. Can he confirm a kill onto the Leo? And he does. VIILIPYTTY looking very strong in this round 2.
Yeah, looking very strong here. There's no way this Juno comes back. We know it's a really well-rooted Juno, but it's not coming back here.
Not coming back at all. VIILIPYTTY with the current 2-0 on Rosie. What a strong man.
2-0 in the finals. VIILIPYTTY has not dropped a game at all today. What a play. What a draft. I really like how he set up that draft there. And I'm also at the same time not crazy about how ROSITH played a Leo with a Vigor and then Juno and no immunity. There were too many holes in that draft for VIILIPYTTY to go after. And the Raccoon was an interesting pick, but yeah, VIILIPYTTY is just able to show a lot of creativity in this draft. I mean, these are wide, very wide drafts here. A lot of big range of unit picks. And generally when a player is able to draw from a wide pool, you know that they're very good at drafting. They can pick a
most
lot
definitely.
of
And I think that's what we needed to see going up against a player like Rosie. You got to be creative. You got to really make him start thinking about what he needs to do in these drafts. And I really like seeing that Raccoon in there. And I thought that was fantastic for VIILIPYTTY.
Yeah, and of course his core being that Ethna, that Oki, that Savannah, it's just so hard to disrupt. I would have liked to see an opponent try to outspeed VIILIPYTTY with Chiwus, fight for the Okis, and disrupt with Gannies and whatnot. Fight him for turn 1, and we haven't seen anyone really contest for speed yet, truly contest for speed and aggression. And that's why VIILIPYTTY is able to kind of roll out his strat, but with different variants, right? Whether it's with Raccoon or whatever it is.
Yep. Well, pre-bans from last time. We've got the Chiwu. We've got the Fran. You know, we may see another 3-0, but it would be really insane to see a 3-0 going up against Rosie here. But pre-bans are coming in. Okeanos and Ragdoll getting pre-banned.
Yeah, so same pre-bans as the first game here. I mean, ROSITH is a really good player here, so to be able to 3-0 him means a lot. It's not easy. We're going to see a Sierra first pick, I think, just because Sierra's generally been the unit, but he's probably also thinking about either that Ganymede or that Fran. I think all these options are in play here. And he's just thinking about how he can best stop that aggression from VIILIPYTTY's side.
Yep, most definitely. So does first pick that CR VIILIPYTTY very quick to locking in that Vanessa and Savannah.
Yeah, again, I always don't know if we need to take that Vanessa this early on. I would have preferred to see a Ganny take or something like that. We also haven't seen a Hathor in this matchup very much, but I guess in the face of this much aggression, neither player wants to commit themselves to that. And so we see ROSITH responding with slower units, Vigor and a Fran here. And I think that's going to play right into what VIILIPYTTY may throw it his way.
Yep, possibly. Let's see what VIILIPYTTY is going to be drafting here. Hovering over that Ethna once again, being a strong unit for him. We've seen a lot of Ethna in today's play.
Yeah, and you know what we haven't seen, though? I haven't seen a Changpeng coming out from VIILIPYTTY, something we've seen in America's Cup a lot. Changpeng would pretty much win this draft on the spot here, but maybe VIILIPYTTY doesn't have it. So instead, he needs an AoE stripper now. It's probably going to be his last pick, some sort of a Triton or a Chi-Wu or something like that. So ROSITH needs to be prepared to defend that with his draft, and I don't know if that Diana Leo is going to be enough.
I'm not sure if that Diana Leo is going to be enough either. I'm still favoring VIILIPYTTY's draft, especially with that Sean, and he's going to be bringing out a Tableau as well. Another curveball coming out of VIILIPYTTY.
I mean, I love the way he's playing variants on his core draft here. I think, obviously, with all these speed buffs, Leo has to be the ban here. But that's a lot of damage. He's going to have 3 units up front, teeing off, and then a Tableau to reset them and go off again. So something's going to be dying early. We're going to have a very quick finals here, unless ROSITH is able to survive, have a unit survive here. But Leo's going to be banned out, and VIILIPYTTY is going to be piling in a ton of damage.
Yep, there's the ban on the speed leads. Vanessa's going to be banned out here. ROSITH definitely going with that 24 speed lead due to Ciara. But we're getting another speed lead coming out of this Tableau as well.
Yeah, we do have a speed lead coming out of Tableau, and I don't see how ROSITH is going to be able to come back from this one. I mean, there's just so much damage coming out from these 3 units with defense breaks, Tableau resets. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, potentially a final match, but we're going to find out, guys. ROSITH versus VIILIPYTTY in our round 3 match in this final for the SWC European Cup. Ethna is going to be taking first turn here.
Yeah, winner here gets an extra $5,000, so they definitely want that. Obviously, this 2-turn immunity is going to be huge, but again, this is so much damage coming out of VIILIPYTTY's side with the Tableau reset coming.
Ooh, Savannah getting the full strip onto that Ciara as well. Dots are going to be sitting there. Possible 3rd skill, may even go with a 2nd skill due to this Vega.
I definitely think he needs to go for that 2nd skill, give that anti-crit buff, and in order to have a chance of RNG back. And actually, ROSITH might be in a good spot because this Diana will cut here, and he will be able to dismount that Savannah.
That's right. Bomb does land on top of the Ethna. Can he get the stun on the Ethna as well? Diana, ooh, not Diana just yet. We've got Sean up here.
Yeah, but either way, this Diana is going to be boosted up in front of that Tableau, and it's going to dismount this Savannah, which is going to be huge.
It's going to be massive damage. The attack buffed as well. Here goes the skill 2. Looking to dismount the Savannah.
Definitely should be thinking about dismounting Savannah.
There it is. He goes to the dismounted Savannah, and the Tableau is going to be cutting here.
Yeah, goes to the dismount and made a calculated move because he knew he was going to be cut there from the Tableau on the backswing. But again, those are 12k a hit, so much damage here. And VIILIPYTTY needs to pummel and damage and take out a unit now.
Yep, really does. Ended up getting that stun onto the Fran as well. Sean getting the stun and attack bar boost as well. Looking to pummel in some damage on the currently stunned up Diana.
Yeah, so I mean, the entire team is stunned up except for Fran here. Everything gets speed buff on VIILIPYTTY's side. A unit just went down.
That's turn coming out of that Ethna. That first skill to finish up the Diana. Going in with a 3rd skill, stunning up the Fran here. We've got Squall primed and ready. Drops that CR. Looking so good for VIILIPYTTY. He's going to be taking round 3 from Rosie. There you have it. VIILIPYTTY is today's EU champion. Wow.
What a draft. 3-0. Great drafts coming out from VIILIPYTTY. I mean, you could see from the draft it was pretty commanding in his advantage. There was a little bit of offness, I would say, with the tuning of that Sean, with the rest of the team, him getting cut, but it didn't matter either way. He had enough aggression with the speed of that Tableau, getting in front of that Diana where it really didn't matter at the end of the day. So VIILIPYTTY just bringing a lot of aggression and just knowing exactly how the turns would play out and just commanding the finals.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And, you know, you called it there, Stoic. Not only of the day, of the week, of the month, of the next year, the European champion, VIILIPYTTY, as you can see on the bracket right there. He battled his way and went completely unscathed throughout the Europe Cup. Can you believe it? VIILIPYTTY defeating OBABO, defeating ZERPOLITA, and defeating last year's champion to become this year's champion. VIILIPYTTY, what a run. what a story, and could not be stopped by anybody here on his way to a championship. So Rosie Gang will be seeing you over at Worlds. He did book his ticket there, but it's VIILIPYTTY who moves on. You can see again those beautiful medals that they have there. So congratulations to VIILIPYTTY, making all of Finland proud. What a tournament and what a run. Yes, I've seen some of the arguments about like, there's RNG and you got esported, but I think these drafts have been consistently putting players on the back foot, because you know what could happen and what has happened throughout the whole tournament of getting procs on procs. Brought to you by Google Play.
Thank you guys,
and there he is. It's VIILIPYTTY. Let's take a listen.
You've won the European SWC Championship. Congrats. Good job. Good job.
Oh, thank you a lot. I was kind of expecting that I could win, and I actually did it. I'm happy. And luck was on my side, got to admit. And I'm very happy about this. Welcome, come at me, world people.
I think you played very, very decisive matches. 3-0 all the time. You picked very unconventional monsters. Sean, Segmet, you picked Bastet, the only person in this tournament to pick Bastet, at least today. Very aggressive. You really, really dealt with ZERPOLITA's immunity units very, very well. Are you taking any pointers from the Japanese players? Because it kind of looks like a bit of a Japanese playstyle.
I like Japanese commercials, but I didn't look at Japanese. I just was looking inside of me. Inside, it came from there. All the ideas.
All right, Vili. In 2 weeks, we will have the World Finals. You're going to have to wake up very, very early because we will be on Korean time. How are you going to deal with that challenge?
No, really? Really? Okay. Okay, there is one medicine to it. You must go sleep early, and then it's all fine. Yeah.
All right.
I'm okay with it.
Very wise words, Vili. I'm very sorry that we cannot fly you to Berlin for the Regional Cup. I'm sorry that we cannot take you to Korea for the World Finals. But I have your medal right here, and we will send it to you very, very soon. So what are you going to do with this thing? Where is it going to go?
It's going to the most honored place. To the wall. Wall of Fame.
The Wall of Fame.
There it's going to be. So my friends can look at it when we are having the party.
All right. Thanks, Willy. Before I let you go, I have to thank a lot of people, mostly all the Come To Us stuff all around the world for making this tournament happen. Thanks a lot to all our partners that supported us with this. And most of all, most importantly, thank you to everyone watching at home. This year has been really challenging for us. We had to change all our plans. So thanks a lot for sticking with us. I hope we gave you a cool tournament. Congratulations, Willy. Good luck in the final. And now,
thank you a lot.
Back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David, and thank you very much, Vili. Again, other than JMac and Trakamu, obviously, are America's Cup representatives, I think I found myself my new favorite player. Come on, Veld, I'm ready for you. That was awesome. He was like, hey, did you look at the Japanese region? He's like, no, I looked within myself. How epic is that? That is so cool. That is so cool to hear that from a champion, isn't it, guys?
I mean, that's completely shows confidence and shows that he did his homework on his own and really thought about his matchups, right? Without copying other people's playstyles. Really, like, I also thought it was funny that he didn't know what time the finals were. I guess he just wanted to focus on matches one at a time, didn't think about, you know, say the next tournament, but just wanted to focus on what was right in front of him. And I think that's the right approach. It showed today, didn't drop a match. I mean, he played very well. Fun guy to hear him talk and hear his interview.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so again, those World Finals where we'll have the opportunity to see him and the rest of your finalists here on the screen. VIILIPYTTY, ROSITH, Lest, Gaia, Mr. Chung, Charmy, JMac, and Trakamu will be, of course, on November 21st if you live somewhere on the opposite side of the Atlantic Ocean. But here in the Americas region, you live between the Atlantic and the Pacific. It'll be November 20th, late at night, because the tournament will be held in the Korean time zone. So make sure you get that correct. November 20th around 11 p.m., I believe. I'll get that time for you later, and we'll have that covered all over, especially on this episode of The Scroll, which we'll have for you later on this week. But man, what a tournament. Congratulations again to VIILIPYTTY and ROSITH to qualifying to the World Finals. And all of you in the chat, you know, you've been bugging Evan, you've been chatting with Gigi, you've been chatting with Motion. There it is, that final code. No secret language there, maybe a little bit of like kind of like weird, you know, see you at Worlds. It's not Quat Worlds, it's see you at Worlds 20 for 100 crystal and one more water attribute scroll, because of course the European region is the blue region. Water attribute scroll got you covered right there. See you at Worlds 20. That's the next time you'll see us here at the live broadcast. It's in 2 weeks. It gives time for all 8 of our world finalists to prepare. It's at 9 p.m. Pacific Coast time here, November 20th. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of myself, the casters, the entire SWC 2020 crew, we appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all November 20th for the World Finals.
you.